Well, I didn't plan on seeing you guys today. Well, actually, I planned on seeing you guys later tonight because the beautiful Duchess will be going live tonight. So make sure you have your alarm set because Duchess will be going live tonight. And her lives are always great when it comes to this discussion. So we're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. We are going to review and recap the live stream from last night. So I'm going to play the intro and then we're going to have a quick discussion and then we're going to get into it and get through it. It'll kind of be out of place, but we can compare and contrast to the interviews that we just have watched recently. So we'll get going on it and talk about it. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day so far. Most of you have probably been out here wandering around, hearing all this stuff so far. I am going to be kind of blind reacting to this because I have not watched anybody else review this yet. That's intentional. As I explained last night, I've been pretty disappointed in people and their coverage of this situation. That's been kind of a constant. That's always where I am. Previously in stories, we've talked about the advocates. For those of you that don't know what that is, in the previous story that I covered, that I started my YouTube channel following, there was a bunch of people that aligned themselves with the biologic family members against the wife of the Marine veteran. And it was family members of the Marine veteran, but they had aligned themselves for personal gain or personal hatred against XYZ. And one by one, they came in, caused shit, and then moved away. And we're seeing that again with the team. So we had the advocates, and now we have the team. It's basically the same thing. It continues to be this jerk around of misinformation and confusion and chaos. Hey, Doodle Mom. Hey, Jameis. Hey, Handmade with Love by Dawn, Electro, Am, Claus, A One-Way Street, Scout, Sober Pug, Leslie, Terry, Stephanie, Laura, Scout again, Duchess. Oh, thank you. LaRue, Kathy R, Marcy. A lot of people will be on replay too because a lot of people are live right now, which is totally fine. Hey, Pepper. It seems like everybody's jumping at the gun, and I get it. I get it's salacious content for people to run with. Sheila S., it honestly is really sad. It's real freaking sad. Hippie Chick, Lindsay, Miss Liverbird, Lily Polly, Peppermint Tea, Kathy. Okay, let's get going. We're not going to mess around. No, you don't need to go in the closet. Kiki is trying to go in the closet. Hold on, you guys. Dexter? Kenzie, is Dex down there? Hold on, you guys. Just 1 second. Let me holler across the house. I don't know where he's at. Normally he's right here. Never mind. He was under my desk. He was in the corner under my desk. Okay, come back, buddy. Come on, Kiki. Okay, never mind. He was under my desk the entire time. He was back here in the corner. I didn't even notice he was under there. Okay, never mind. Disaster avoided. Hey, little mama. Everybody's got to be in their spots before we can start. Hey, Candy Kisses. Okay. It's a mess. So I am not a late night person, as most of you know. So this is going to be interesting to me. I watched a little bit of this. I'm not impressed whatsoever. I'm going to try to give as much grace as I possibly can, but what is being said, what is being done here is completely ridiculous and so harmful to the actual victim, who is Sebastian. Sebastian is a 15-year-old minor missing out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. And we are going to hear his biologic father, Seth, say some pretty interesting things. This is from Allegedly with No Brain Cells from last night. This is her live stream that she did, and Seth comes on. People are asking, why would he go on stream there? Well, let me be honest. There's not many places that he is going to go at this point in time. He has pretty much angered a lot of creators, and they're not going to be so welcoming to him. This one flip-flops back and forth to whatever is best for her. So she don't care about what goes on, even though she has been saying stuff opposite to what she's about to say in this. Okay. I'll be honest, this is going to be hard for me. Please understand. On a personal note, this triggers me. Everything about this triggers me. Everything about him triggers me, but I'm still remaining in the space that law enforcement has not given us any proof that the parents are responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian. Up until that point, I will continue to treat him as a vulnerable parent, but his behavior, his choices, his words are something that I will not handle with kid gloves either. This isn't acceptable because the person at the end of this that you are hurting is your child. And just like with Letitia, I have no grace to be seen there. I can respect you as far as you being a vulnerable parent and you didn't get here on your own, but I will not overlook your poor behavior either. That's just not it. But I'm seeing creators stoop to the same levels that's going on, and it's just becoming too much. It's all becoming way too much. So this is all under fair use. This is based on my opinion only of about what we're to see in here, and I probably will pull in a couple other streams to make my points.
I'm so mad about it. Like, it just makes me want to cry the way that this baby was treated.
Yep.
She just wants to cry about the way that this baby, who is a 15-year-old, was treated. Hey, Chico. Hey, Teacup Kraken. This right here, right off the bat, you just want to cry about how he's been treated, but then you let this upcoming happen. Okay.
Justin was up here last night, and I completely forgot about this. He had 2 cats. Sebastian had 2 cats in California. And they asked what was a way to get Sebastian to come to you, and he said, have cats. Like, that's how much that kid loved the cats.
Yeah.
And you took them from him.
And they took
his 2 little cats. Yep.
I love these irresponsible adults who can't understand that if a pet is not being properly cared for, it's best to sometimes rehome it. Again, pet overpopulation is a huge issue, but to try and shame somebody because the animal wasn't being cared for properly, and they did the best thing, in my opinion, to rehome it to somebody that had time to care for it. But just hold on to those thoughts.
Horrible. Just
perfect display.
They took the snake. They took the cats. He took his belongings and made him throw them away himself.
Now that lit me up. I'm not gonna lie. I was livid when I heard that, him talking about taking everything, throwing it in the trash, and saying, "Yeah, now you can keep your room clean," or whatever what.
Now you walk it down the driveway to the curb. All of your stuff.
Actions have consequences. We teach all children that responsibility. Actions have consequences. If they can't take care of their things, that happens so often. That's so widely known for parenting. And to see these people act like they're the perfect parents is completely astounding.
Terrible. That would have absolute, this, you know what it's like helping someone on the spectrum stay regulated and
Oh yeah.
And I love how they instantly start weaponizing his diagnosis. Again, his diagnosis wasn't until October of 2023. It is what it is.
Their surroundings, their things, that is their foundation. That is what gives them stable reaction. And the idea that somebody would go into his room and clear everything out, he must have been terrified.
I'm telling you, guidance. It's so good to see you.
He must have been terrified. The way that she phrases everything for a professional is highly disturbing. Now, what I'm talking about is the woman on the bottom underneath the guidance's comment right there is, I guess, a professional in the mental health arena. It is very disheartening to see professionals, especially in that realm, which is so needed, to be so ignorant about the statements that they make because of their bias.
Guidance says it is so hard to invest into this case anymore. And I was I know, and I believe you, because today is the first day that I saw you over in Justin's, and I was like, well, there she is. It's been a little while since I feel like since I've seen you, but it is people are getting sidetracked. And look, I'm guilty. Here I am talking about the cease and desist, but we do still try to keep the focus on the red flags that night.
Which you are nothing but a walking red flag. Let's just be honest. You have flip-flopped all over the place. You ride the fence so hard on what you stand for, depending on what's going to profit you the most. Let's be honest here. This ain't about care and concern and red flags. This is about your fucking pocketbook because you call it a career to exploit victims at their lowest time. That's what it is. Don't try to sugarcoat it.
I'm stuck on this whole 17-hour deal, but I mean, when you really get into it, let me try to
17-hour deal, which is what BHB has been peddling. Isn't it ironic that this one is now using information from BHB to run with a false narrative? I mean, shocking.
Oh, no two people on the spectrum are the same.
No shit.
Yes.
I will admit that. I know that, but just to give,
I don't need you to admit it because, well, some of us are professionals in those arenas, not just live in it.
Give y'all a general idea for those of you that may not have a child on the spectrum or live in the home with one. Let me tell you, my son, how he would be if I did that to him. Okay. If I were to go in there and tell him to clean his room up, well, first of all, that's like pulling teeth. He screams. But if I did, right, and I did the same thing to him and made him take his belongings out into the trash, and he would be devastated for probably the next couple of weeks. It takes a really long time for him to get over something that bothers him, and something of that magnitude where I'm making him throw.
Again, stop trying to compare your situation to a complete stranger. You have no idea how he's going to react or respond to those. So even putting your personal experience in that is unnecessary, but go on.
Throw things away that belong to him, that he holds close to him. Oh, that's good. It might even be more than a couple weeks.
It would be unmanageable, which really is eye-opening considering the timeline and those stories that
it's really interesting to hear a professional again say this stuff. It's so intriguing because again, you teach kids on the spectrum, off the spectrum that actions have consequences. There are actions that if they don't want to pick up, there's consequences for those behaviors. It's not punishment. It's natural course of, like, this is so ridiculous because you're trying to prompt them for independence. And that's a very key factor. And to have them, they would overreact. They would hang on to it. Well, that's a part of your problem of not teaching them the foundation of how to handle things of this nature.
Told at the beginning of this, like it seemed like in the week or two before Sebastian went missing, there was an escalation of these activities, these events, right?
We don't know that. We don't know that as fact and the timeline here.
And him talking like he was such a good parent and said, you know, we took everything, throw it out. I guarantee you the next time they'll keep their room clean, yada, yada. All that would have done would be to activate Sebastian. He would be uncomfortable and unable to manage.
We don't know that. We have no idea. Every child is different. Every child is different.
That would set you up right there for him to have a meltdown. And
it might, that's not true. He could have gone and thrown it away and completely moved on. We don't know these as facts. And to even try to paint this narrative is ridiculous.
maybe even lash out.
100%. 100%. And of course, he said, I'll promise you, works like a champ. I bet it did.
Wow.
I bet it did. I bet you he cleaned his room spick and span because he knew that you would take his belongings. He's so mean. I would not be surprised if he took a couple of things, because he said it was anything in the floor that was left over. I wouldn't be surprised if he snatched a couple of things off the dresser too and said, you know, just to make sure that you do it right next time, we'll take these and throw them away too.
Because you know him so well, right?
So I could totally see that. Guidance says, I've been in the bushes digesting my feelings, but still around, and one of my twins had a seizure. Oh no.
Oh, I'm sorry, Guidance.
I hope your baby's okay. That's scary. That's terrifying.
Very scary. Yeah.
Oh, love, I'm sorry. I will be keeping you in my prayers. Grab the super chat real quick. Yeah, because I don't know how Katie did it. I couldn't. We would have been divorced that first time. Serenity says, in some cases, I understand why Seth did the sum of the cease and desist.
Man, this is going to be hard. This is going to be challenging for me not to take it, because she takes it so personal with Chris and Katie and doesn't even know them. They're complete strangers.
Some creators are too busy trashing Seth to talk about Sebastian and trashing other creators. Yeah, absolutely. I did a live yesterday, early in the day about that, and I provide several examples of the things that these people are saying about him, and it is every single day. The thumbnails are disgusting. Calling him deputy, I forget what they called him, but it was bad. It was really bad. I mean,
it's so bad calling him deputy dog, but it's totally okay what he's about to do, and I'm going to sit by and let him do it on my panel.
And you want to talk about the equivalency? Seth says, or you could just ask me. Is that really Seth Rogers? Y'all, somebody look.
Now, just remember, days leading up to this, she's been dabbling on, I can't believe he did this. T-Rev's my friend, all of these things. Remember, she's been riding that fence. I can't believe Tony and the people in his ear, jewels of thought down there, allegedly innocent, had just done a live stream on Friday night. In fact, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's just go over here and I'll show you. And claims that Tony is giving...
Right. She was royalty from the...
Let's see. She was giving Seth, or Tony is basically working with Chris Proudfoot. Is this her Friday night one? Let me look. She claims that Tony is obviously working with Chris Proudfoot because he's setting Seth up. But this one right here, Katie Proudfoot, Shadows of... Look at this. I mean, just absolute ridiculousness. I'm not going to watch it right now, but that's these professionals. That's what's going on here.
I know what you're saying.
And we might go back to that in a little bit.
I'd actually like to ask you a lot of questions if that's really you.
Yeah, I think my main question, Seth, would be, when your child goes missing and you have an outpouring of love and people not just talking about the concern for your child, but feeling it and actually getting out there in the community and helping you look, it's a little hard to understand how you get to a place in your thoughts that you now begin to blame them and you start running people away, and now you're issuing cease and desist orders. I'm having a hard time resolving that. Of course, if you don't want them helping with Sebastian anymore, I understand that. But here's my problem. It's causing a lot of people that do a lot of work with missing posters and boots on the ground, actually searching. It's causing them to feel resentful. And we don't know, but maybe the next missing person or the next missing child nobody will come out to look.
Can you land the fucking plane on your one question? What's your question? Because you're just rambling now. Where's the question?
Because of what they're now facing. So that would be
Yeah.
my main question, Seth.
What's the question? You just berated him over his choice to send cease and desist because he's sick of certain creators. Again, that's the parent right, whether we like it or not. We don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with it across the board. I think some of them deserve it, absolutely. But then if we support the victims, we got to understand he's also a vulnerable adult that's being weaponized by creators intentionally too. Yes, he has made choices right along with it. He gave them every opportunity. He is absolutely accountable for his own actions, 100%. But the grimy creators have been opportunistic and ready to go on it too.
I'm not sure that was him or not. Okay, Megan says it's not. Well, let's see. I reactivated my account. Okay. Let me see. My question, I'll drop the link and we'll see. He said send him a link. All right. Okay, there you go.
So I could have sworn this one just did a poll not long ago about, do you think it's wrong for creators to get personally involved? Because, you know, Chris and Katie had been on Queen Bees and that bothered her.
Brittany, before it comes on, I want to ask you a question.
Yep.
I'm not a mother of a child on the spectrum, but if they would have worked with him to show him how to clean his room instead of being demanding and telling him if you don't clean it the way
Nana, before you even continue, he was not diagnosed until October of 2023. We do not know when that incident actually occurred.
it is, it's all going to be thrown away. I mean, wouldn't that have worked better?
When you have a child with behavioral issues, you don't know what's going on and you try everything under the sun. And sometimes parents get frustrated and do things that they normally wouldn't do either. Again, we can disagree and argue about parenting styles all day long, but the big point is being missed once again.
Better into showing him. I mean, that's what you do with children. You teach them how to take care of your things. And I have a problem with him being so abrupt with the way he acted. And I'm talking about Chris.
Oh, so they had issues with Chris being abrupt, but it's okay for Seth to be okay. Gotcha.
Oh yeah, no, I've got many problems with this dude. Yeah,
I mean, how many parents have said, "Okay, let me show you how to clean your room"? You might have to show them 3 or 4 times, but eventually they might get it. And if they don't, then go in and do it. And just, I mean, my daughter used to go to her dad's for the summer, and I would go in and clean the room. You know, it's just.
Seth, do you want to leave your camera on before I put you on panel?
Okay,
You want to turn it off?
I'll be quiet.
All right, hold on. I can't hear you. Let me put you up. Hold on. Let me let him turn his camera off. It is him.
So ridiculous.
Hold on.
Panel real quick.
Hey. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, listen, I promise you here, no one's going to disrespect.
I'm just going to make this quick because
Okay.
it's 11 o'clock at night. I've been busy all day.
Okay.
And I got
Joanne, I hope Sebastian is alive and well too.
an early morning. I've got searchers coming in again next week. Got places to go. Got to get what little sleep I can.
He's got searchers coming in next week. He's got to get the little sleep that he can. Okay, that's great.
I understand.
I sent out cease and desist. These people are nasty.
Oh, they are.
And no parent of a missing child should ever have to sit there and listen to the people slander him and I've listened to people call my son a sexual offender.
Sir, respectfully, you did that. You put that out into the ether. You did that. And with all the disrespect fucking intended in this one, you have encouraged and been the huge source of Chris and Katie being attacked over misinformation. So while you come out here swinging from the fences, that poor you, it's horrible to be slandered and defamed. I agree with you, but you put these things out into the ether and then encouraged and incited a whole entire false narrative to be painted against Katie and Chris, such as allegations that Sweetie Pilo made against Chris that have no fact basis behind them whatsoever, that then we find out that you are the source of the misinformation behind those allegations. Then T-Rev, your bro, who you were so proud to be in cahoots with, you didn't have a problem with any of his behavior up until you no longer were teammates.
I've listened to people call me one.
Yep.
All right. I didn't have any relations with Sebastian's mother until she was way after the age of 18.
I'm sorry, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Straight up bullshit. He has said that she was 12. He was 10 years older when they met. Again, I don't know when it happened, but the fact that they were together from 14 basically on, I do not believe that whatsoever. And I bet I'm sorry, not going to believe that whatsoever.
People need to get off their high horse.
Agreed.
Because I'll tell you right now, I don't have to do anything and God will knock you down. But I sent cease and desist to make sure that.
And this whole religion thing that I am hearing out of him, it's interesting that he didn't seem to find religion until his son went missing. Again, in times of tragedy, people really search for answers, anything like that. And sometimes religion is what people go to. I'm not faulting him for that. However, him using faith manipulation to try and pull a narrative is absolutely disgusting, again, in my opinion. It is what it is, but it's the truth to watch him do it, because people that knew him, have known him their entire lives, said that this isn't the man that they know.
There is proof in the legal system that I am not connected to these people.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way I'm not sitting there and they can sit there and say whatever they want. Defamation is pretty easy when someone's sitting there for 6 hours on a live panel, letting people talk massive amounts of crap about me and accuse.
Or kind of like what you did on Terry Lynn's about Chris and Katie.
Accuse me of everything from putting a nail into Jesus Christ on a cross or pushing the red button for Biden. You know?
Yeah.
The red button for Biden. Are you fucking joking?
You say whatever you want about me, but when you start talking trash about my son, or you're using pictures of my son and stupid little things for click me bait because you guys want to make money.
You were okay with all of that clicky bait for the longest time. You associated with those people, JLR, T-Rev, Dolly. Those were all your groupies. You were totally fine with it. Crime Lines and Lies. You were totally fine with all the fake narratives until the truth started coming out and people started reviewing what you've actually said. Sorry, it is what it is.
And when I say you all, I mean everybody who's out there. When my YouTube channel comes out and I sit there and I make people pay for a membership to listen to me give updates, I know that I'm going to receive nothing but negative attention about it.
When my YouTube channel comes out and I charge people for updates, what? What?
Nothing but negative attention, because Lord knows I'm the child's father. I need to make sure I have flyers. I need more yard signs.
You had 10,000 flyers that the United Cajun Navy left. The TBI prints flyers for free.
I need more materials and more resources. And
you had $25,000 in a GoFundMe. You had probably just as much in a Cash App. Plus, you had PTO time donated by your fellow coworkers for the entire time.
There's not enough.
Absolutely.
There is not enough until my.
And you didn't call him on that, Brittany. You didn't even. Absolutely. You thin-spined fucking twit.
My son comes home. People want to talk about me being at work. That's my personal life. Get over it. You're not going to find out if I'm at work or not. It's none of your business.
We know you're not. We don't have to wonder. We know you're not. We know you're not at work. It's not that hard to figure out, Seth. Come on, dude. Stop.
I've had people infiltrate my home. I've had people sit there and literally lie and have conversations that you just wouldn't have with a person. Not if you actually had a soul. And to have people come in afterwards and call me on a live chat, and I didn't even know I was live, and start asking me questions about stuff that I had no idea what was going on. That's pretty dirty.
Coworkers, Pointer Lover. I know for a fact from coworkers.
All right. And then sit there. I get phone calls from Sumner County and from TBI about everything that's going on. Well, they need to stay in their lane.
Law enforcement needs to stay in their fucking lane? Are you fucking joking right now? Oh, hell. Sir, those men and women are the ones investigating what happened to your son. Law enforcement needs to stay in their lane because they called you and asked you? The fuck?
ask me what I have a civil attorney doing for me. All right. They need to be focused on investigating and finding my son. But every time one of these creators open their mouth, and I say that term very loosely because there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are not creators.
No shit, you're on the channel with one.
They are is, we'll take what this person did and we'll go over it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
called commentary channels.
And I'll tell you right now.
And a lot of the ones like the one you're on currently, the ones that you seem to go to and associate yourself with, do nothing but run with salacious rumors and gossip as the fact of a freaking tragedy like this. That's why they're trash.
I have no respect for them. I don't, but that's my personal opinion. And I don't care if somebody has respect for me or not.
Good.
I'm looking for my son. And I said, I'm
looking for my son. Sir, you're not the only one that brought him into this world. Sorry. I'm just going to say he is Katie's son too.
Dance with the devil and show the devil a few moves in order to find my son. And that means I'll do whatever I need to do within the limits of the law, because me going to jail doesn't help my son.
Right. No shit.
But I will never stop looking for him. And anybody that wants to be an obstacle in my way, I feel sorry for them.
I have not seen one person try to stop him for looking for his son. Not once. I have never seen any proof that anybody has attempted to stop them for looking for Sebastian. That whole narrative of people don't want us to find him. We must be getting close. I've heard so many people saying that even on this side of things. Bullshit. That's straight up bullshit.
Because karma's a bitch. And God will knock them down.
You're right about that. I want to clear something up with you while you're here. This
just so you know, I sent 6 people cease and desist. 6, not 50. Okay. Yeah, 6, not 50 like T-Rev is talking about. And I tell you what, anybody that's out here on a YouTube, whether they're a creator or whatever they want to classify themselves at, if they're literally out there spreading Sebastian's case in a positive light, not a negative light. There's enough negativity in this world. People say I start drama. Don't ask me questions that start drama. I'll give you an honest answer. You may not like the fact that I give an honest answer, and other people may not like the fact that I am brutally honest. But it'll even say in one of those declarations that Katie wrote in my...
Sir, that's not true. That's not true. You're not bluntly, brutally honest, because unfortunately, we know numerous things that you have lied on, especially when it comes to your ex-wife. And that's really disappointing.
A divorce. That I tell people the truth. And I literally will sit there and state whether it has anything to do with it. And that always used to piss her off. She hated it when I talked about anything that was going on in the house. She was like, that's a random stranger. I've been like, well, I can't talk to you about it. I'm going to talk to a random person that doesn't know anything and bounce the ideas off of them.
So he's admitting that he has historically weaponized what's going on in their private relationship to random strangers for attention seeking. So he is blatantly acknowledging that he has always went to strangers and told them his side of things to weaponize against her, just like he did after their son went missing. Okay, I got it. I'm following. This is not going to go well.
Because they might have the answer. God may say, this is how you should answer this gentleman, and give me the answer, because God works in mysterious ways. That great.
God. Seth, when's the last time you stepped foot in a church before Sebastian went missing? Honestly, I would really like to know.
Crazy person that's asking for change out there on the street corner. That person could have an answer. The first places that I hit were homeless encampments. I've been homeless before. Thank you to my ex-wife for making me homeless. Why didn't I get full custody? I was homeless, living in a vehicle. I praise God every day. I got...
No. We're not doing that. Nope. We're not doing this. You were homeless because you were homeless because you made the choice to not get a job, to not attempt to care for yourself and your priorities. You were not homeless because of Katie and her divorcing you. And you weren't homeless the entire time. So that excuse of you being homeless And full custody doesn't work either. This is bad.
Joint custody. Do you think I wanted full custody? Without a doubt. I should have my son living with me right now. But yeah, I'm still a suspect of my son's disappearance. You guys don't know what kind of effect that has on a person's psyche.
I'm still the suspect in
to know that I'm getting phone calls from law enforcement about me sending out cease and desist from my attorney, who is doing her job because she wants to make sure that people in the legal system know that these people do not represent me, and therefore they have been sent a cease and desist.
So he wants to make sure that these people do not represent him in the legal system. He wants to have paperwork, and I don't think any of these people are attempting to represent you. These were your hand-selected team members. These were the people you intentionally brought in to help you. These are the panels that we have watched you go on time and time again.
Enforcement did not want you to send out those letters?
No, law enforcement has called me about it because everybody's up in arms that I sent out a cease and desist. Some of these people live right there in Sumner County. 3 of them do. T-Rev lives there. Klumati lives there. And so does T-Rev's girlfriend. I'm not even going to speak her name. She ain't worth it.
Whoa.
Oh my God. The bitterness. Are you serious, Seth? Like, seriously? He does have legal standing, Lady X. It is his son still, but this is just, you can't beg for the entire world to help find your son. Unfortunately, yes. Do people take it too far? Absolutely. Do I think that parents of missing children oftentimes deserve to get, 100%. But he goes back and forth and continues to target and harass and go along with anybody that's willing to do that. But then as soon as people fall out with him, he's got a problem. It's
all 3 of them live there. And you know what? T-Rev has never showed up for a search. Oh, he bought hot dogs and buns. Appreciate it, buddy. I didn't appreciate everything else you did, like taking a picture of me while I was in my recliner in my house.
Then why didn't you say something about it? Why didn't you say something about it instead of going on panels still and saying he was your brother?
Stepping into my sanctuary and violating my sanctuary. Because not only did you violate my sanctuary, but this is also my son's sanctuary.
Yeah, because it's content for them. That's the point. Just like the panel you're on, it's content. Your pain and suffering is content.
I didn't appreciate that. Klumati showed up for, one search, only one search. And she acted all nice and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Introduced herself by her name, not by her, never once told me that she was a YouTubist, none of that sort of stuff. But I treated.
So he's admitting that he knows her name, which we knew. She got doxxed shortly after by T-Rev's buddy.
They're like a regular researcher. Hi, thank you. I appreciate your help. And then she turns around and plays, I want to be number 6 on, CP's list of marriage or whatever you want to call it. I don't care.
That is just weird. But people do get.
People want to talk trash about me, but people want to look at me and tell me I'm trash and that I'm despicable because I have an opinion and attitude.
No, you don't deserve.
My son is missing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody who's never been in my position has the right to tell me anything. All right. Those that do have been in this position, I've spoken to, and I get different opinions from other people. And people you need to get rid of this person on your team. No, I get rid of people that I watch their activities, I watch their actions, I listen to their words. And when actions and words don't meet up, something is wrong.
They haven't from jump, Seth. That's the part that you don't understand. The YouTubers that you intentionally aligned yourself with do this to families intentionally for content, clicks, and views. It's their job to exploit victims of tragedies. That's what they do. And you were a prime example of it because you willingly helped them do it.
I've always been a person that explains to my son that anybody can say anything, but your actions will speak louder to your words. What CP did to my son is horrific. My son.
What did he do to your son that was so horrific? Because it's pretty even with what we've heard you've done to your own son.
Cleans his room. Why? Because I use logic with him. Sebastian.
But you have said that he refused to clean his room. He stripped down naked, refusing to, and you went and you were going to go to the pool afterwards. What are you? What?
So you can't find this toy. You know why you can't find this toy? Because I had to come and clean up your room while you were gone. Now, if you clean up your room and you put things back, when you come back in here, you will know where everything is because you've put it in its special spot.
Exactly.
You didn't make him clean it up and go take his things to the trash, right? Make him throw his things away.
Yeah. Why are you not calling him on the fact that he himself has came out here and said what he would do to Sebastian when Sebastian wouldn't clean his room? Why aren't you confronting him about that?
No, this might be seen kind of selfish, but I'm a parent. I'm on a limited income because I work for the county. All right. I make $50,000 a year. I work 12-hour shifts and I deal with murderers and inmates that I believe can change.
Absolutely.
All right. And I treat them like they're human beings.
Yeah.
Because I expect them to change. Are my sights set too high? Probably. But that's not for me to judge. I'm there to make sure they're safe while they're in jail before they go to prison. All right. I have a badge. I'm supposed to uphold that badge. I don't hide behind that badge.
You've been hiding behind that badge the entire time since your son has been missing, misleading people that you are law enforcement and not a correctional officer. Sorry, that's the truth.
I am the representation of what the badge is supposed to be. Honor, integrity, courage, commitment. Only I can do that. Mm-hmm. I've had inmates, oh, you hide behind the badge. No, I'm the same person when you see me at Walmart in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, grabbing a gallon of milk and orange juice to go.
So you've had issues with inmates.
Home so that my son has milk and orange juice to drink. Pick him up, whatever he wants to cook for dinner or whatever he wants me to cook for breakfast, so on and so forth. I work when my son is here with me. I work with him so that everything in this house is his. He knows what is his. He has to have room to grow. You cannot sit there and keep somebody trapped in a cube.
He knows what is his. You're his father. What?
Expect them to grow. That does not work.
Absolutely. 100%.
People want to give me grief for how I raised my son. Well, I am sorry. I didn't think I should take him out on the street corner and pick a fight with somebody and show him what a real beating was. Yes. Did I tell my son I was going to bust his butt? Sure did. Did I use that exact verbiage? Probably not. Hello.
No, you found it acceptable to go show him a violent scene in Mortal Kombat, though. A bloodbath, and show him what a real beating was like.
I'm a first-time parent. It's a never-ending, everyday learn something new.
Yeah.
So I used a video game, which is better than watching an R-rated movie with a bunch of people being shot and having heads cut off or, things like that. No, I took a video game that we have played and I put the blood mode on so you can actually see it, because before there was none. I turned it off. He doesn't need to see all that.
He would have been around the ages of 5 to 7 during that time too. Oh, and none of them are even confronting him about it.
But yet I get criticized, and most of these people that criticize me don't even have kids.
Yeah, I honestly.
Oh, well, sir, I'm criticizing your behavior and your own words that you put out here. I'll stick to that. But just so you know, I not only have my own biologic child, I do have 2 other children that I raised that aren't mine, and I have for 9 years. So just.
We don't hold that.
I have never once said I was perfect, nor will I ever say I am perfect. Sebastian, my son, may think that I walk on water, and I never want to lose that.
You never want to lose that, but yet you felt comfortable enough to weaponize his own trauma against him.
I never want to lose that, because that means I'm his hero.
That's right. You're right. And you don't deserve.
Have I failed my son? Oh, yes. I am my worst critique ever.
And I've said that all along. I can't imagine the guilt that he has, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but his behavior has been so poor with the false narratives and the targeted hate against his ex.
None of these people out here saying anything can make me feel worse than I already am until they sit there and start talking about my son being a sexual offender or any of that. My son was with.
No, sir. No. You're not going to switch that around now. No. You yourself used words to try and label your son that. You yourself told stories about situations that led people. No. We're not doing this, Seth. Do you want me to go pull up Justin on TikTok's video where you said all this stuff? Well, don't worry. This week we'll be reviewing it.
Me all last on the Christmas break. Faith wasn't here. I saw that rumor going out there. Sebastian was with me before Faith even got here. So people need to shut that rumor up.
We
All
did.
right.
Trust me. We have fought diligently to
That's
make
my
sure that that's
15-year-old
not
kid.
Shut the fuck up, Brittany. You don't even know what he's talking about. He's talking about 2 separate incidents. Dumbass.
true.
That's missing.
That's right.
You haven't
And
shut
that should
anything up.
never, that should have never come out of anybody's mouth. And
The person that is sitting underneath you on panel is whose mouth it came out of, Brittany J. And you freaking know that, you thin-spined bitch.
believe you me,
I can't even. Oh, this is gonna.
here and in a lot of places I know, Seth, it won't be spoken, and we shut it down. That there's nothing to even.
But there are.
You didn't shut down shit. You didn't shut down shit, Brittany.
There are YouTubers out here that promote that stuff. They got cease and desist because they're nasty and vile things.
Well, they have an agenda, right? They're playing up to Christopher Proudfoot. They wanted him on panel because they're getting the views from him being there because he acts like such an ass.
Just like Brittany J is doing right now with the one that's acting like an ass on her panel. Well, you both sit there when you have gone on your own panel and said that Christopher Proudfoot is controlling Tony, that they're working together to sabotage Seth, basically, with no proof behind it whatsoever. Because, you know, Seth couldn't be responsible for his own behavior. It's got to be something that Chris is doing to set him up, right?
Yep.
You know, we could all act like an ass. And that there is nobody in this world that can't act like one. But what it comes down to is that he's not looking for Sebastian. His family's not looking for Sebastian. His own mother. Sebastian's own mother is not looking for Sebastian.
And you know that? How? How do you know that they're not doing anything? Because last I heard, they were doing a whole hell of a lot out of Katie's own mouth.
It's insane. It's craziness. To get in a camper and go 3.5 hours away from your house with your child missing.
Well, come on. It's 3 hours and 37 minutes.
Thank you. How foolish of me. You're exactly right. That was
you know, let's break this down because Lord help us, we may or may not get stuck behind a semi on Route 40.
Yeah.
You know, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid just because nothing is ever finite.
No, what's stupid is you want it to be about your son. You keep saying that you want the focus to be about Sebastian, to find Sebastian, help you find Sebastian. But what you continue to do is take every opportunity you're given to drag your ex-wife and her husband. That's a you thing, nobody else.
Everything is infinite. There's no, it takes 3 minutes to do this. That's bullshit. You ask anybody. There's too many holes in their stories.
Oh, it's just.
There's too many holes in their stories. Really? Is that what law enforcement told you? There's so many holes in their stories because law enforcement is saying that all the parents have been cooperative. And the only holes that I've really found in stories so far are yours, sir. And that's factual based off of your own words.
Incredible. It's incredible.
I know where I was at, and it really upsets me that they haven't cleared me. They have literally pulled over a year.
Pointer lever. People who are being threatened physically by the very people your ex-husband brought in intentionally, such as JLR, Dolly, to threaten and harass your safe place, your home where your child has to come home to that's missing. People leave the state for safety reasons under law enforcement's knowledge that they were leaving too. They didn't leave right away. They left, 3 weeks into it?
Of my phone records. They have taken all the electronics. Yeah, I want my son to have his stuff back. I want my son to be found and walk into his room.
Why are they looking a year back?
And it be set up just like it was when he went missing. So that
with a gun under the bed and a flashlight, you know what you showed in the live stream?
he can start readjusting back to life.
That's right.
Okay. Yep. And if nobody has an autistic child, then they don't know what I'm talking about.
Take the autism out of it. Children are children. He's a teenager.
But my son, when he came home, he would walk into his room and everything is left just like he picked it up and put it.
Yep. That's his comfort.
So his bed was unmade when he left, because you showed his bed on live stream in his room, not March he did. And the bed was unmade. So you've left it the way it was. But I thought after they came in and thoroughly searched, you put everything back in order where it was supposed to belong and cleaned up everything after they searched his room.
His sanctuary within our sanctuary. And what's funny is when he's at my house, he spends more time in the recliner than he does in his own room. because he'd rather be out here in the living room where I am than in his room like he is at his mom and Chris's. He stays in his room there.
Yeah.
Here, he lives in my.
And we're supposed to take your word for that he stays in his room there. But meanwhile, you have told us out of your own mouth that he hangs out in his room in his recliner at your house too, that he loves to go under the bed and read. Maybe that's his safe space in each home. And
shitty 2-bedroom with a garage, 900 square foot place that I pay rent for, that my rent has increased since I moved here in October of 2020. My rent has gone from $700 to over $1,000, and I don't move because he is used to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
I want to say
room. I want to say something on your behalf about that.
Pointer lover, don't start that shit. Don't start that bullshit over here, because that's bullshit. Straight up bullshit. I'm giving you facts of why they left their home. You don't want to fucking hear it, then please leave. Because I'm sick and tired of watching the flip-floppy bullshit from all of you people in the comment section riding the fucking fence. These are all parents of a missing child. Every one of them, including Chris and Katie, who we don't have proof. Neither do we have proof that Seth is responsible for the disappearance. I don't do the flip-floppy bullshit, wish-washy, fucking fake phony shit. It's a bunch of crock of shit. And if you can't understand that these fucking creators helped get it to this point, you haven't been paying attention anyways. Oh, you people.
Real quick, okay? Because I'm tired of everybody saying everything you say has something to do with money. No, what he's saying is he's willing to rip himself off by not finding something cheaper because he wants his child to have a home that he is safe in. And I have a child on the spectrum too, Seth. So I get what.
So how it is.
Yes.
No, it's not just the tensions are high. I have seen what's been happening. The constant putting it into the ether that they left. No, there was safety concerns. That's why they fucking left. It's not hard to see this. You want JLR coming to your home and fucking stalking you? You want CJ out your house stalking you? Give them some grace. If you want to give Seth grace, give them some grace.
Change is constant, but if you can limit what little change,
yes,
then it does them so well.
Yes. And then when he comes home to you, he's home where everything's where you left it. For I understand, yes, more than you know. And I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I tell you,
no, you're not.
It grips my heart.
If I get my son back, I don't care. I'll go through even more. But I want my son. I want him found. I want him returned home to me. And all these people out here, I hope like hell you never have a child have to go through anything resembling what I'm going through. Not even.
But you've been okay with intentionally targeting and weaponizing stuff on Chris and Katie
for 30 minutes.
That has not been factual. That you have came out here and fabricated stories.
It's been over 100 days for me. It's been even longer because it's been 7 more days.
So sorry, Seth. So sorry.
And it's just there's evil people out there. There's people.
Why would it be an additional 7 days for him? Why is there an additional 7 days for him? Why aren't you guys questioning that? Where's the 7 other days? Is he trying to allude to that he saw him 7 days before he went missing? It had been an extra 7 days for him. Is that what he's trying to allude to?
People that are, negative naysayers, ones that just love to start drama. Well, you ask questions and I answer questions. And the questions you ask are meant to start drama. And I can't help that I answer questions. But if I...
And you knowingly did that. T-Rev admitted to giving you money. And isn't it ironic that the stories kept getting more speculative, more salacious, more recorded phone calls, more things intentionally released on certain dates?
Don't answer the questions. I can't win for losing. And I'm not trying to win anything. I'm just trying to find my son.
Seth, I just want to tell you one thing. I am with you 100%. And I know that you love your son. I know.
Oh my God, spare me.
That you are 100% into finding your son. I'm not, from the very start, that's how I felt. And I am not going to change my mind.
People are flying drones over their home. Seth intentionally reached out to JLR, one of the most, in my opinion. Do we need to go over what he did to Sandy Hook victims? Do we need to remind everybody of who he is and what he does to victims and their families? Do we need to have a history lesson on who JLR is and the intent that he has? And Dolly, who is known to have signs, will you marry me, Leilani?
Mm-hmm. I need to ask you this because I want to clear this up. It's been going around that you are asking for money for interviews. Can you clarify if that is true or not?
You shouldn't even have to ask that because there's been zero proof shown. But your buddy down there, Jules was thought allegedly innocent, ran with it too on her live stream the other night. There's no proof that he has asked for any money for interviews.
Nobody's giving me nothing for interviews.
There you go.
Wow.
I didn't even go to CrimeCon because I was out searching that day. I couldn't see myself going and being around people instead of not being out trying to find my kid.
You know who started that rumor? Brittany J., your buddy, Crime Lines and Lies.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah, there's probably been some really good resources for me there.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you know that most of those people that were there, except for some of the FBI agents, I have their phone numbers. I could call them.
Yeah.
Because they've already reached out to me. I just didn't see the
Maybe you should have taken some of their advice.
point of being there.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I'll tell you, you weren't even there and people were already losing their mind that you were. So it probably is a good thing that you didn't go.
Well, he's absolutely received money from these creators. It might not have been for interviews, but he has received money for going on and being associated with these creators. T-Rev admitted it last night, 9 minutes into his live stream. He admits that he gave Seth money.
It's ridiculous. This is what YouTube is. It's nuts. And when you have grievance, it makes me so mad.
For the longest, people have been drilling this into my head for a couple months now. YouTube is social media. But when I opened up my first YouTube account back in the 2000s, it was to listen to music, people.
Yeah.
It was just watch music videos, do it yourself videos. There wasn't all this stuff that's on it now. So yeah, I never really classified this as social media. To me, MySpace, that was social media. A lot better than Facebook because at least you had to know how to code. And I had a MySpace. I've had Facebook too, but it's just horrible.
It is.
It's been years. It's been years since I had a Facebook. I used my Facebook account to save videos of Sebastian and pictures.
Yeah.
Because I had hard drives fried on me and I lost pictures. And I was like, I need someplace digital. You know what? I can use my Facebook profile and just make it private and nobody can see it.
Yeah.
And I saved pictures there. I've got pictures.
So you are admitting, what the hell? He's admitting that he has Facebook and has all along. So he's had Facebook all along, and he's told us how many times that he doesn't have social media. He doesn't have social media. He has people that have access to social media, but he doesn't have social media. He doesn't have social media. Now he has social media. He's saved videos and photos there, but it's because of photos and videos, and it's set to private. Okay.
Of me and Sebastian at the zoo. Videos of me and Sebastian at the zoo watching the piranhas eat because that's what he wanted to do. So we had to make
why lie about it in the first place.
Sure that we were one of the first ones into the zoo. We had to make sure that we had gotten all the way over to the fish area in there before they fed them, because they fed them at the same time, every morning. And we were there to watch all of like 15 seconds of them devour this huge chunk of meat. And he was like, that was awesome.
Sorry, you guys. My give a fuck is real broken. 100%. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not tense about the situation as far as people are always allowed. But when you constantly refuse to acknowledge the severity of the situation that he himself encouraged to happen to his ex-wife, and then question the parents of a missing child, why they would leave their home. First of all, the stepdad has to work to pay for the bills. Secondly, safety concerns are major when I'm sorry, I wouldn't want JLR, Dolly, BHB, any of those people around my house stalking me, flying drones over. No, sorry. And I carry a bat, a crowbar, a flame torch, not scared of shit. you still aren't going to send people to harass me. No.
I couldn't even I couldn't even get my phone up, which was one of these old flip phones, to record it fast enough before they devoured it. Yeah. And I was like, well, you want some pictures of you next to the piranha? It was like, sure.
He loved the piranhas. Bless his little heart.
And then off to watch the snakes, off to sit there and look at all the other animals, you know?
All of his stories go back to when Sebastian was in California. They're all when he was really young.
He's an animal lover. He's always been. Yes, cats are his favorite. We had a bearded dragon when we were in California. Goose was her name. She was beautiful.
Oh my!
But when I wasn't allowed to have her, she died of scale rot.
Why weren't you allowed to have her?
So did the next snake that Katie bought him.
So sorry.
All right.
So if they've had 2 tragedies on animals because they were unable to care for them, it would be responsible for them to rehome the animals that they got that they couldn't care for.
So he liked reptiles, huh? That was his, and then cats, just animals in general.
Animals in general. But when we lived because we lived in Spring Valley, California for years. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had 2 dogs and we had Goose, and my ex threw a fit because I got rid of the dogs. Well, Sebastian was taking one for a walk and the dog took off after another dog and dragged my son down the sidewalk.
Oh my goodness.
And, no, you're not going to hurt my kid.
Right.
I had 2 of them. All right. And I wanted.
So he had 2 dogs when they lived in California that he had to rehome. So how are you any different than Chris on rehoming animals?
I wanted to train them to be able to work with Sebastian. He's autistic. But when that happened.
Wait a minute. No. Hold the fuck on. Hold on. Sebastian wouldn't have been diagnosed with autism at that point in time. So why would you be training dogs to work with a child with autism when he didn't even have autism at that time? Huh? Wait, what? I want to listen to that again. Did I hear that wrong?
Childs, huh? That was his, and then cats, just animals in general.
Animals in general. But when we lived because we lived in Spring Valley, California for years. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had 2 dogs and we had Goose, and my ex threw a fit because I got rid of the dogs. Well, Sebastian was taking one for a walk and the dog took off after another dog and dragged my son down the sidewalk.
Oh my goodness.
And, no, you're not going to hurt.
So the dog took after another dog and dragged Sebastian down the sidewalk. Okay.
Hurt my kid.
Right.
I had 2 of them. All right. And I wanted to train them to be able to work with Sebastian. He's autistic. But when that.
I wanted to train them to be able to work with Sebastian because he's autistic. Sir, he would not have been diagnosed with autism because when you were in California, he did not have that diagnosis. He was just diagnosed based on your own words, what you have told us in October of 2023 at Vanderbilt University.
That happened. Couldn't do it. It was like, and I gave them away to good homes. I didn't sell them or anything like that. I literally turned around and gave one to the guy that lived across from us who had another place to live down in Mexico. And he took him out and took Abel out to a range. And Kane, I gave to one of the ladies at his school.
Kane and Abel, conveniently.
Because she had just put her dog to sleep because her dog was old.
Oh.
And I was like, I tell you what, I've got a pity. You know, he was Stafford Razor Cross. Gray, beautiful pups. All right.
How would you send a minor child that has water on their brain? Because when he was in California, he wouldn't have had the autism diagnosis, but he had the 6q27 chromosomal deletion and also the hydrocephalus. He had fluid on his brain. Why would you send a minor child under the age of 8 out to walk dogs that you had no control over with the potential of him getting hurt? Meanwhile, you tell us that he doesn't also like to wear his chest plate very often. And you didn't make, this is going to be hard.
Right. I'm like, they're a little over a year old. They're still puppies. And I was like, you can have.
BJ, fuck you for not calling him on that shit and putting him in his place and questioning that. This is the bullshit. She just wants the attention.
I mean, and I gave 50 pounds of dog food to her and gave her, you know, Kane. Like, here you go. You know, and Sebastian didn't.
So you're the good person. So Seth is the good person for rehoming the dogs, but Chris is a terrible monster for rehoming the snakes. Got it.
I even realized the dogs were gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks that they were gone. And then I finally took the doggy door out of the hallway. And he walked up and he was like, "Why'd you do that, Dad? The dogs are going to."
He didn't notice for 2 weeks. He didn't notice for 2 weeks, but yet these bimbos just sat here and tried to tell us that he would be so fixated on taking his toys out to the trash and be fixed. Oh my God, I can't with this shit. I just can't.
Come eat my toys. And I looked down and I was like, "Son."
I probably shouldn't even review this shit, to be honest. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry. This is flat out ridiculous, because at the end of the day, all of the exaggerations, that bullshit, everything, the only person that this hurts in the end of it is Sebastian. He is honestly weaponizing his own missing child and exploiting his own missing child's trauma. And it's unbelievable and so disheartening.
You had one job, and that was to feed and water the dogs in the morning before I took you to school. When was the last time you fed and watered the dogs? And he was like, "Oh, I guess I should feed and water them." I was like, "Son, I already gave them away to new homes."
You had one job.
And he was like, "Oh." I was like, "Don't worry, I gave them to good homes, though." He was like, "Okay." You know, he was younger then.
Yeah.
So he was okay with it when you rehomed his dogs, but he had to have been fixated on things when Chris and Katie made decisions. Okay.
You know, he wasn't attached to him like I was.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you this, because I really want to clear this up too, because this is another one that's nagging my soul. There's certain creators that keep saying this over and over, that Sebastian was going to be made to live with you because he was being punished. Can you please clarify that? Because I don't believe that's to be the case at all.
I'll clear it up with this comment. While I was homeless in California going through a divorce.
No, urge already. Bullshit. I don't know what's about to come, but bullshit. She asked you if Sebastian was currently being made to go live with you because of punishment, and you just went back 8 years to answer this.
And finally got the restraining order and everything cleared up in the court system, where everything that somebody had stated about me was proven false.
There you go.
And
that's not the truth. We don't know if they were proven false. We don't know that.
Nothing could be proven that anything she said was legitimate at all, but everything that I stated was legitimate.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Clear down to police reports.
Your side is always the truth, but everybody else is the liar. Okay.
For my son to tell me that he'd rather live in the car with me than in that house with his mom, that should tell you.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't answer the question. That's complete deflection, because you went back to California when you were homeless again, making yourself out to be the victim, and that your son supposedly told you that he wanted to live with you. Meanwhile, what she asked was he being made to come live with you for punishment? And I go back to when you told the YouTube world that he had been given a shot, but he needed to get his behavior in check a year ago.
My son wasn't being punished to come live here with me. He thought he was being punished with online school, but he needed to get into therapy. And
he did feel as though he was being punished because you were making him homeschool. Okay. So he does answer that finally. He did feel like he was being punished because he was having to go live with Seth and do online schooling, not necessarily living with Seth, but he was not going to be able to be in regular school that he wanted to be. So he did see it as a punishment.
Needed to have that year of just being online school. And what people don't realize is that he'd have been going to online school, which I still have him registered for and enrolled. I'm just hoping that I have him found and back to me before school starts.
But Seth, you said the other day that he had been getting therapy, that he had been getting occupational support. You said that yourself in an interview, that he had been getting support services. Do you forget that? So he had been getting proper supports. You're just talking about, in my opinion, a different program that is more intensive outpatient. It's intensive outpatient therapy, basically multiple things all at once. We've done it with one of our girls. We pulled her out of regular school for a year, did an academy type thing. It actually helped for her. Not every kid's the same though, but okay.
But he was going to school with his godbrother, because his godparents live up here in Clarksville too, which is why I live up here.
But he wouldn't have been going to school with your godson because he was being homeschooled.
I have a question. Someone that wanted me to ask you this too. The day that they called you, Chris called you to tell you that. Right here, Jane. I see it, babe. Jane says, "Can Seth please explain the day that Chris called he called you and told you Sebastian was missing. And when you arrived at the house, what Katie did with her phone to you.
She had the picture of Sebastian at Costco, shoved it in my face, and was like, "Look, see, he was having a good day."
What?
Like,
That's
what does
so
that mean to
bizarre.
me? What does
He wasn't upset that he was having a good day.
that mean to me?
Crazy, Seth.
That's crazy, Seth. Are you joking? This is the man who claimed that during the first 3 days that he was there, all he was doing was watching their behavior and watching their body language and how they were responding. But then when asked if he saw the scratches on Chris's arms, he couldn't remember because he wasn't paying attention to him. His words, not mine.
Seth, does she not talk to you ever by herself? Because I noticed that Chris says like he
No, obviously not. And for good reason.
he kept in contact with you. Would Katie not co-parent with you one-on-one?
Sometimes it was difficult. Sometimes we could have, I mean, sometimes co-parenting is hard. It is hard, but you will do whatever you can to make sure that your child is okay.
Oh, absolutely.
But I refused.
Mhm.
I refused to continue certain punishments from that house at my house because he didn't do it at my house.
I don't blame you.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. I teach co-parenting classes. You are right about that. And
Woo-hoo-hoo. So it is perfectly acceptable to undermine in a co-parenting situation consistency across the board that you have obviously established that these are going to be the parameters for behavior and consequences of behaviors, but he's going to refuse to carry on with those consequences because it didn't happen at his house, but you're trying to establish a positive co-parenting situation so it's consistent across the board. Gotcha. Okay. And this lady teaches parenting classes. Awesome.
There you go.
I did try to correct that.
Awesome.
I heard people saying that if the kid gets in trouble at one house, the punishment should spill over to the other. And I said that is
I believe that only depends on what he did wrong.
I agree with that.
Well,
If he had sat there and hit a teacher or something, yeah, I don't approve of putting your hands on anybody.
So it was selective. It was selective what he wanted to continue to punish for. Again, consistency of co-parenting is all different with whatever they,
Especially a female. Oh, hell no. So
But
me and him are going to have a nice long talk for that hour when we get here.
Wait, is he implying? Wait, hold on. Is he implying that that's what happened?
But I refused.
Mhm.
I refused to continue certain punishments from that house at my house because he didn't do it at my house.
I don't blame you.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. I teach co-parenting classes. You are right about that. And
There you go.
I did try to correct that. I heard people saying that if the kid gets in trouble at one house, the punishment should spill over to the other. And I said that is
I
not.
believe that only depends on what he did wrong.
I agree
Okay.
with that.
Well,
If
This is the part right here that piqued my interest.
he had sat there and hit a teacher or something, yeah, I don't approve of putting your hands on anybody.
Is he using that as a hypothetical if he would have hit a teacher,
Especially a female. Oh,
especially a female teacher?
hell no. So
But
me and him are going to have a nice long talk for that hour when we get here. And I'm going to ask him what he thinks his punishment should be. But that's only going to be after I find out what his punishment has been at his mom and Chris's.
So is he implying that that's what happened? Is that an implication that potentially, I can't tell right here what's going on. That bothers me though, a lot. Why is he using that example? Yeah, it sounds like an example, but it's very specific about going into like, we're going to have an hour conversation. If it's an example, it's a really bad example to use.
And that would be a specific example of where both parents would have to be called in for that particular type of infraction, right?
Right. Where it would be
But
both.
if you
Correct.
Not necessarily, depending on how it's set up through the school district. Sometimes they only contact the main one that he lives with.
like if your bedtime's 10 o'clock, kid stays up to 10:30, 10:45, and you say, okay, well, you're grounded this weekend. That grounding should not happen at the co-parent's house. I've seen situations where one parent was actually weaponizing that so that every time the kid went over to the dad's house, he had to be grounded for the dad's weekend.
And that's a different situation completely than what he's explaining here. Again, you're a professional. Every situation and household is different and should be given that respect. But what he is using as an example is completely in a different realm of fashion, and it's not being weaponized. Obviously, there were some behavior issues that they were trying to get consistently under control across the board. I get that Seth wants to be the fun parent. I get it that he only gets them twice a month. I wouldn't want to have to carry that forward either, if I'm being honest. But that's not the case. When you are looking for the best interest of the child, you do what's consistently best for the child. And sometimes people over punish for a lot of things because the retention of the child isn't necessarily. Yeah. Anyways. Oh my God. This is somebody that teaches parenting classes. Lord help us all.
So
yeah, no, that's my weekend with him, not your weekend to control him.
That's exactly correct.
And I told Katie a long time ago, when you divorce me, you lose all the protection that I give you. As in, you're no longer my spouse. And yeah, this may sound harsh or rude or whatever, but that also means I don't have to treat you like I would my loved one.
Yep.
No, that's
because
true.
you violated your vows.
You violated your vows. Wow. Right back to the divorce. Right back to the divorce. Unfreaking believable. You violated your vows because she didn't want to be. Y'all, come on now. Sometimes divorces are necessary. Let me be honest. You violated your vows, but there's not a problem of a 22-year-old hanging out with a 12-year-old, even if it's just befriending them. Okay, but she violated her vows. Okay, gotcha. I see you.
You have stepped upon these vows that you took in front of somebody that are supposed to be in front of God. And you have trashed these vows because you don't want to work with me anymore. God.
No, she doesn't want to be married to you. She wasn't in love with you anymore. You still have a child in common. That's not what I've heard her say at all. They've had plenty of opportunities to come out here and trash you and have not done so.
Right. Well, I'll work with you when it comes to Sebastian, but don't expect the same treatment from me that you got when I was married. People think I'm not over her. No, I still have good memories. I have a lot of good memories of me, Sebastian, and his mom.
And you hear genuine emotion from him right there because he definitely is not over it. And he just said, no, he's not. He's still got good memories.
All right. I never focused on the negative ones. I know them. I lived through it. But I
didn't focus on the negative ones, but that's all we've been given examples of when he goes back to California. She made me homeless. She did this. She wasn't getting into the proper help. She was doing this. She was doing that.
Always been the one that goes for the positive memories. The times that we were fishing on the dock in South Georgia while we're sitting there and I've got a net over Sebastian's rocker because Sebastian's an infant and we're out there fishing at night with him.
Oh.
Okay. I still remember things that she probably doesn't like to remember. Like I had a pickup truck. I was the only one that was working. We only had one vehicle. And it started raining. And I told her, listen, it's raining outside. We have a kid. You're going to have to ride in the back. You can't drive a stick shift. If you could drive a stick, I'll ride in the back, but she couldn't drive a standard.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Why would she have to, what? What? Why would you have to ride in the back of the truck if you have a child in a pickup truck? What? That doesn't even make sense. Even an old 2-seater pickup truck with a stick shift in the middle, you could put a car seat in the seat and she could have rode what we used to call bitch. We used to call riding in the middle bitch. It might not be comfortable, but why? Oh my God, this is why I can't do this.
And it's like, I can't take Sebastian home and come back and pick you up. There's nobody at the house. I'm not leaving him. I mean, let's be, common sense here. One of us has to ride in the back. Well, right after that, she got online and she was like, I found us a new truck. All right, that's cool.
That doesn't even, rationally, that doesn't even make sense because why did it change with rain? It would have been the same way.
I still miss my little Toyota. I remember taking her to the DMV to get her driver's license for the first time.
Well, I'm sure because, yeah, again, you met her when she was 12 and you were 10 years older. So Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, you think that's so cute too. Okay, Brittany.
I didn't groom this lady.
I get so tired of that. Yeah, that's
this lady
awful.
she did not have the opportunities that children should have because of her father and the mistakes that her mother had made.
Oh, no. Oh.
And the mistakes that her father made. She didn't get the opportunity. But as her husband, I was damned she's going to get these opportunities. I helped her buy her first car. Spraying my wrist, changing the brake pads on her first vehicle. You know?
Mm-hmm.
People will make trash up because
Absolutely.
they're trashy people.
So Katie is making things up. Katie would be making things up if she confirmed that you guys were in a relationship of some sorts from the time she was 14 on. Would that be correct? That she would be making that up? Is that what he's trying to allude to here? That if Katie came out and said that their relationship didn't start until, oh my God, this is just, he saved her too. I am so confused by what's happening here. Like, why is he doing this? And why not question him on this? Why not question him on, wait a second, how old were you guys? Yeah.
You're right about that. You're right.
And then they're going to get butthurt when they get a cease and desist because they're talking garbage and they're making me look bad, which I don't need anybody to help me do that. Thank you.
No, you're factual on that. You do not need anybody to help you do that. You do it on your own. Yes.
Well, I think calling somebody a predator,
yes,
that's more than talking shit. That's a crime. They can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So when
I don't agree with that myself. I don't call him that. But again, some people will say they feel it's factual to call him that. It is what it is. So I don't say that's why I do the content I do and how I do it.
Thought about that. I said, well, maybe that explains the cease and desist letters. I wouldn't let anybody say things like that.
You know, when there's a YouTubers out there claiming that they made $20,000 off of my son.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's gross.
That's gross. Who do you guys think it is? T-Rev or Pascal?
It's gross.
They got a cease and desist too.
T-Rev. It's T-Rev already, I can tell.
Because you're nasty. You're using...
Brittany, that's your friend. You're going to let him sit there and trash your friend, your creator friend on your panel? And you're going to say it's gross? Why is it gross, Brittany? Because you didn't make that much?
The fact that my son's not here and telling people you made $20,000, you're pretty nasty.
Oh my God, I'm having such bad flashbacks. And if you're still in here listening to me, Janice, either one of you, you know exactly where my head is doing right now. This is so similar to fucking what they did to Letitia. Molly would get on panel and brag about making 18 grand in the 1 month as she was exploiting Marvon and then lying about things. And then Letitia would come in. It just gives me so advocates in the team. I can't stand YouTubers at this point in time. Truthfully,
When a YouTuber that is literally here in Tennessee sits there and asks me about handguns, and I give him my personal opinion of what he should be looking for because of the performance, and he wants to talk about how much money he has, and I said, well, while you're at it, if you're making that much, why don't you buy two and give me one? No, the pistol don't cost $2,000. They're $2,500. I've been saying.
Okay, so what he's claiming would be T-Rev lied then. If what he's saying is true, then T-Rev would be lying and weaponizing it. Again, I find it disgusting and disturbing that T-Rev had no concern. It was all about content that happened weeks before he decided to use it against Seth. And it was after T-Rev's girlfriend got her fifis hurt. Again, it's scum is scum to me. Sorry, it is what it is. There's no gloves on it at this point for these creators because they absolutely saw an opportunity of a vulnerable human being with very questionable behavior, as is baseline to begin with. These are these extreme personalities that they love because they know that they can push them into certain areas and get more salacious content views and make a shit ton of money off of them. It's the perfect storm of shit ass human beings all around. I'm sorry, it is what it is.
Saving up for 4 months before my son went missing to get it. Do you think I have that money now? No, I spent that money in doing other things.
Right.
Dude, did I want it? I sure did. That was going to be a birthday present from me to me.
So that verifies, though, that there was a conversation about that. And that makes me even feel worse because this man is in a really, really fragile mental state. Again, you don't have to like his behavior or anything, but we can acknowledge that he is a vulnerable parent of a missing child that had poor behavior before and has escalated the poor behavior throughout this point in time. And in my opinion, should not have access to weapons whatsoever because of, I don't want him to harm himself potentially, because that would only hurt Sebastian in the end of this too.
Now I just want to find my son.
I get it.
I don't give a fuck about present. I give a fuck about being able to hold my baby boy.
Hold on a minute. I want to clarify that right now. Are you saying that the person bragged to you about making that money?
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't with that.
Crazy.
I'm sorry, y'all. That right there is awful.
That's your buddy. You've got so much respect for him. You let him come on your panel and trash Seth in this gun incident on your panel. And now you're hearing that he said to his face. Oh, Callie, I'm so over it. I'm so over it. This is why I always end up over here in my little Islanders, which I love my Islanders. Don't ever take that wrong because I'm so thankful for the people over here. But there's so many layers to this of why we got here, but it wasn't just Seth's poor behavior. It's a combination of multiple things. The exploitation and the opportunistic creators involved in this absolutely see an opportunity and they play these out. This is a handbook verbatim, JLR, Dolly, T-Rev, all of them. It's exactly what they do.
It's like you are such a piece of shit. And to think that I come under your thing and I think that you have my back and I tell you to be safe while you're out there doing what you're doing in other states because I've been taken advantage of by YouTubers.
Yes, you have. Yep, I agree with Seth on that. But unfortunately, you're still being taken advantage of by YouTube creators, Seth. And you're taking full advantage of it too, currently, right now, while you're on this panel. They don't care about you or your missing child. Again, she claims that she's been done worse than Chris and Katie, basically. Poor her, right?
Content creators. More like copy clickers. Because they just want to take interviews and dissect them. Oh, did you see how his eyeball twitched? Oh, he keeps his hand up above. I've got nerve damage in my right arm and I can't even make it into an MRI.
But you're okay with people doing that to Chris and Katie. Remember, like Peter Hyatt, when you went on that after you said you were calling a truce and then you popped on Peter Hyatt's the next morning and let them sit there as a professional and trash your ex-wife and how they move and, you know, their arm movements and their rocking and stuff. Okay.
I've been waiting for over a month, close to 2, for an MRI. All right. Yeah. There's days that I cannot pull myself out of my bed.
Shoulder injuries suck, though, truly.
I can tell. I mean, this is taking a toll.
Yes, it's too much.
Would you be able to just sort of stay away from the whole YouTube stuff for a week or so, just to kind of give?
I did. That's why I deleted my account. I couldn't even watch any music or anything. Thank God I'm old enough that I still have CDs.
Yeah.
Seth, stop that. Stop that. How many music apps are there outside of YouTube? There's Apple Music. There's all, y'all. Please tell me it's almost over. This is so hard to do.
Bless your heart. It's not good for anybody. It's not, especially, listen, I as a creator myself, I've said this before you've been on my panel and I'll say it again. When it comes to cases with missing children or tragedies or anything like that, this place is a cesspool.
It is.
And you are a part of the problem. You are a part of the problem. I'm sorry, it's going to be said. You are a part of the problem. You are one of many that are a part of the problem. You're not concerned about his mental health because you wouldn't have invited him up there. You shamed other people for getting too close to the parents. You've been salivating for him to come on panel. Make it rain so maybe Seth can get gifted a membership to my channel because it's some fucking badge of honor to have the parent of a missing child in your chat. Y'all are fucking weird. These are not people these are not heroes. These are normal people with a missing child going through a horrifying tragedy. Fucking weird.
For families. It's horrible. What they're doing to you, what's happened to many others, it's absolutely gross.
You know what's
that you've been a part of helping do.
It is gross, but you know what? When you get people that are paying people to continue to do it, where is it? I mean, really, you can't blame them. People want to pay for the drama. They're like, this is better than, cable TV.
It's sad.
And it's like, so the only difference is this is real life. This isn't Law and Order. This is literally somebody's life.
Well, Seth, I mean,
Yeah, Seth. You know what? The sad thing is many people tried to warn you. Many people. And this is where I have such a hard time because people begged and pleaded, don't do this. They're taking you down a path. Don't do this. But you saw an opportunity to seek revenge on your ex-wife. I get it. Your divorce is bitter. I get it. You have a lot of animosity. But the person you are hurting is your child. And you allowed YouTube creators to exploit you and your son, and you helped them do it. You gave them the fuel to light their fires to further exploit your own child. And that's the reality of the situation.
No, on mainstream TV, the reality TV shows, people flock to that, right?
I don't have TV. I had Netflix. That's about it. Now I don't even have that. I actually haven't had a TV subscription. I stopped watching TV when my doctor told me you need to stop watching the news.
Yeah.
He told us the other day something about watching TV too. It's always the same channels too. Yeah.
News is affecting your health.
Absolutely.
And that was back in 2011.
Yes. And
I was like, I tell you what, that's $120 that can be put towards something else.
Absolutely agree. But the reality TV where they take a group of people don't know each other, put them in a house together, and then they add a bunch of alcohol, and then they film and watch as these people just go through their days fighting and being ugly.
Allegedly innocent, jewels of all thought. It is what it is. Tracy really did a good job today. Shout out to Tracy and her calmness, because I don't know where she fucking grabs it from, because I don't have it in me. I just don't anymore. But she got on panel and tried to give some hypothetical situations to bring it back to the facts. And this one just kind of tiptoed around things. Did agree on a few things, but the problem I have with her using that example is because she knows that the people that she's on panel with right now too are doing the exact same thing. She herself has done so much content on this, such as Katie Proudfoot abuser, such as all of these different live streams to paint narratives and target the family members. So she is a part of that problem. And then claims to be a professional in the mental health arena. I got major issues with that.
There's a certain element of our population today that they like. And I think, my opinion, you get a lot of that with some of these channels where there's drama all the time. And that one particular channel that, she's got it for Christopher Proudfoot, that they do seem to really like, enjoy that type of banner. And
it's awful.
It is. And the only thing that you can do, Seth, is to insulate yourself from it and just not watch it. Don't go there. Don't listen. You're not going to control these people. We sat, Brittany can tell you, we sat and watched for about 2 years as Chris Watt's wife, Shanann Ripbeck, her parents hired attorneys. They sent cease and desist to YouTube. They tried to sue YouTube.
Maybe I should pull up the Rusick's plea. I still have that when I used to play it when Molly and those guys were going after Letitia.
Digital creators just trying to make people stop with the nonsense, and they could never get it to happen. And
drama will never stop, because there's always people that are craving the drama. Mm-hmm. But as creators, you guys can limit it, because you can limit the drama. That stuff's not allowed here. If you keep it up, you can go somewhere else, because you won't be allowed here. I mean, that's just the way it is.
But that doesn't bring the views and the speculation and the opportunists. That doesn't fulfill their audience needs to be able to say the most slanderous shit about you.
Somebody was wanting to know about me leaving my son at home. when he was here, my son was responsible. Have you ever known? Okay, my son was never an eloper. He never eloped. He never ran.
My son was responsible. Meanwhile, in other interviews, he has said that his son had the mental capacity of a 10-year-old. So your son was responsible. He was able to be left alone, home alone, but you compared him to a 10-year-old. Okay.
And I ran away, no nothing. Besides the fact that my neighbors all around know my son and think that he's the wonderfulest child they've ever met.
Oh,
okay.
He does seem like a little darling.
My neighbor has stated that she has watched him come out this door and stand in the driveway, and she was out here, and he was like, "Hi, how you doing?" She's like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And he was like, "My dad will be home in about 7 minutes."
Aw.
And she's like, "How do you know?" And he was like, "Because I know what time it is. My dad's never late when he's."
But I thought he didn't have a concept of time, and that's why you had to wear a watch. Again, your words, not mine. And that tells me again that he is not afraid of strangers, even though they're your neighbors. That would have been a stranger to him. So if he was willing to walk out and wait for you outside and engage with random people in the parking lot and had a concept of time, which is it? Because you've told us both options now.
He's coming home from work. He'll be home in about 7 minutes. And she's like, "Oh," he was like, "I come home. He's already got coffee made and everything." And it's like, "How'd you know I was coming home early?" He was like, "I just knew you were coming home, Dad."
So sweet. So
I
sweet.
made that promise to him. "I'm going to work, son. I'll call you later on tonight." Because I'd call him from the jail. Because I can't have my cell phone in there. All right. So I would.
So you leave a child on the spectrum. Again, I am not trying to say that about Sebastian, but these are Seth's words. He has made such a big deal out of this whole thing about him being autistic, even though he lied about training the dogs, which wouldn't have made. Anyways, I'm going to totally get off track here. But you leave a child who you've claimed has the mental capacity of a 10-year-old home alone for 12 plus hours, because that's just the shift. Then you come home and obviously you have to sleep. So the child's home longer. So you don't really have any understanding of what he was doing or fully engaged with, except now you're telling us that he did have concept of time. Meanwhile, before you told us that that's why you had to wear a watch and that he does engage with strangers. So there was opportunity for him to have relations or meet people in those hours that you were gone. Oh, okay.
Call his cell phone from the jail. And I would see how he was doing. He never had a reason to leave. I hate this word. I really hate this word. But the kid had plenty of food and snacks in this house for him. All right. And when I say snacks, I'm talking about he's got yogurt cups, fruit cups.
You used to tell, or you've told us in so many interviews about how you would go to the grocery store and things he liked to eat. We know that. We know that he had food.
Everything in the fridge, carrots, celery, peanut butter. Boy knows how to cook. Does he, Hot Pockets, burritos, you name it in the freezer.
So now you're trying to tell me that a child with autism that you have, again, tried to weaponize and make him seem less capable of things. Meanwhile, the mom and Chris have said that he is extremely high functioning. He's basically a typical teen from his behaviors. It sounds like to me, again, not trying to diminish, but if you just follow it, he's a very typical teenager. But you told us before that he has mental capacity of a 10-year-old. And now you're telling us that the kid is home alone for 12 plus hours at a time, cooking for himself, but gets distracted. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like any of this. Okay.
Because he knows how to use the microwave. And then if I was here, he would.
Okay. Thank God he clarified right there. He's not using a stove. He's using a microwave. Okay. I feel much better about that.
Cook on the stove. Because that's what I was teaching him to do. I was teaching him to be independent for himself.
Wow.
Striving for independence with any child, any teenager, even on the spectrum, is 100% what we do. That's why we teach that there's consequences for actions. It's not punishment. It's the natural course of things. That's why you work with habilitation goals. That's why you have these things, because you strive for independence. And you talked about how you had people involved in his life that Katie did in occupational therapy that were helping him work on things of this.
You have to let them grow if they're ever going to be able to fly on their own.
Hey, Arctic.
How can I just ask for clarification? And listen, I'm not judging you at all, because I think you love your son, and there's no doubt in my mind. I don't question.
Nobody's questioning whether he loves his son or not. And if they are, they're completely
discombobulated. Just because you do not have proper behavior as an adult and doesn't mean anything about his love for his child. You can be a shitty ass human being and still love your child.
But did you have to
What
work
the hell?
overnight, or was it during the day?
I worked overnight.
Okay.
You know the answer to this. Why would you even ask that? He has said that himself how many times?
And he did fine. That's good. I mean,
for God's sakes, Brittany, pull your head out of your fucking ass. When Sebastian went missing, he was working a night shift. He got up at what, 7 something by the time he got to his truck, he told us the other day.
Listen, I have a child on the spectrum, and something I can tell y'all about him. Sebastian was 15. They're perfectionists. Was Sebastian a perfectionist? Did you have to do things the right way? And,
No, that's, again, your personal experience is totally different than probably theirs. Some have OCD tendencies, others don't.
Very punctual. I'm just curious.
Oh, God.
Not really following the question, but Sebastian did what Sebastian knew he needed to do.
Right. So usually when, a lot, I don't want to say that because it's not fair, but in the cases
I'll tell you what, I'd come home and his bed ain't made. Did he make his bed like he was supposed to? No.
But in the beginning of this, you told us that at your house, his room is always clean, that those weren't things that you... Come on, Seth.
I come home and be like, Sebastian, did you brush your teeth last night before you went to bed? I'm going to take that as a no. Go brush your teeth.
It's a typical teenager.
Yeah, he's a teenager. He's going to rebel. Welcome to being, a parent of a teenager.
Exactly.
Certain things you have to do. Certain things you just look over. Certain things you have to remind them of. All right? Well, it was just that.
Sometimes every child learns differently. Some you have cue cards and you make notes and you help them. Oh, God, this is so frustrating.
I was happy if he made sure that his room was maintained.
There you go.
And he knew how to wash his own laundry.
Oh, that's
good. When he was having accidents.
Oh, no. Why do we have to go here? This just makes me so sad, all of this. Fuck.
All right. He didn't get in trouble for having the accident. He got in trouble for not cleaning it up.
He got in trouble for not cleaning it up. But you expect him to understand that he's in trouble for not cleaning it up and not having the accident. His accident is why there's a mess in the beginning. Oh.
There you go.
Guaranteed this is when he was like 11 and 12, because we were getting to the point where he didn't have accidents at my house. He didn't need to wear a pull-up. He didn't
have accidents at your house, but meanwhile, you have told us on numerous other times that he did have accidents. You were just not willing to allow him to wear incontinence briefs at your house because he was going to be a man and wear underwear, boxer briefs, or whatever you said verbatim. I can't remember the exact words. You also told us that you attempted to potty train him 6 times. You also told a story about when he was younger and doing things that I won't even repeat for an example to try and diminish your son. Like, can you stop? This is unnecessary.
You have to, he was here for 2 weeks at one point in time. I think he had an accident. He didn't make it to the toilet in time. Not he was sitting there and just peed himself like, oh, I peed myself. No,
wait a minute. Okay, bear with me, you guys. This is probably going to trigger the fuck out of me, so I'm going to try to just be as silent as possible.
He didn't make it there in time, and he peed himself trying to get his little thing out so that he could sit there and pee.
His little...
All right, okay. And I looked at him, and I was like, okay, you're not in trouble for that, but what you do need to do is you now need to take a shower, and you need to go ahead and start a little laundry when you're done. Because you got it on you. You got pee on you, son. It's urine. You don't want to smell like that. It's not good for your skin. Hot shower, clean yourself up, start a load of laundry. If he had an accident in the bed, because he was also getting to that age.
So he's mentally 10 years old and isn't being punished for having the accident, but is being punished for not cleaning up his mess. Because the adult in the house isn't shaming him for having the accident, but intentionally shaming him for not cleaning up the accident and then shaming him about, okay.
Age as well. The last time he had an accident, I don't think he peed himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to tell you.
He's a boy. And I was like, hey, your clothes are wet. So I need you to go ahead and get up.
Who does
like,
this?
Dad, I didn't pee myself. I was like, son, I'm not asking you what happened. I'm telling you. I need you to get up. I need you to strip your bed.
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I'm not teaching. I'm not using this as a teaching moment. I'm doing it to shame you. Okay. I gotcha.
We need to go ahead and get that stuff ready for the washer. And I need you to just go take a shower.
No, snowflakes, I'm blind reacting.
Do it and all is fine, right? I mean,
and then afterwards, he took a shower, put the laundry in, started the washer, washed that. We Lysol the bed to make sure, like we do any other time we're doing linens. And he made his bed, and there was no more conversation about it.
There was no more conversation about it. So the next time it happens, it's going to be shaming him for doing the same thing. Okay. So instead of continuing the conversation and trying to get to a solution that he is comfortable with to make it for the best of the child, in case he continued to have those accidents, because you're trying to not have the child humiliated over things that they may or may not be able to control. You don't have the conversation. Okay. I get it. This is really hard. There you go.
So, I don't understand why there would be more conversation. It happened. It's in the past. We clean ourselves up. We take care of what happened, and we move on.
And there's a clinical fucking psychologist sitting on this panel right now saying nothing. Fuck you people.
I guess that's why I struggle, because you said he did so well. I don't understand why he had to wear, I don't know what to call them, but they made him wear them 24/7 at their house. It just seemed.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Oh,
y'all, he is. You might have missed it the other day. We reviewed another example he gave where he was talking about smearing things. He mixes both of them in. I don't want to hear it again. Sorry. I know what he's talking about. I'm not.
Absolutely.
This is for Jenny P.
No, we're not rewinding it.
T-Rev isn't the person that made $20,000.
Oh, okay.
Okay. T-Rev told me how much he made in 1 month. I haven't stated how much he made in 1 month. But some of the stuff that came out of his mouth to me.
He's talked about feces and other bodily fluids previously, you guys. Like, I'm not shocked by this, unfortunately, and I'm not rewinding it because there's just fucking no need for this. There's no fucking need for this. None of this. He is absolutely exploiting his child.
For being, quote unquote, my brother, as he has stated. And the fact is that he did this to himself. And he continues to sit there.
He has no privacy or respect for his child's dignity whatsoever.
I do not have a problem with people getting $10, $5, super chats, whatever, because I know that that's what you're doing. But if you're spreading my son's case in a positive manner, instead of talking about him, because you guys don't know him, you guys don't really know me. But if you're going to sit there and talk down about my son or talk down to me,
talk down about your son, sir, you're doing that. You're doing that.
You're with the drama. I can't have it. So Jenny P, know what I'm talking about. And if I'm a sad ass individual, what's that make you for not knowing what I'm speaking about? See, that's part of the drama, Jenny.
Yeah,
you don't know who I'm speaking about. I haven't.
You were speaking about your son when you just said some very unnecessary things.
Stated everybody that I sent a cease and desist to. And stated I sent it to 6 people.
And Jenny P, who are you to say to someone who's lost their child, their child is gone? Who the hell do you think you are, calling them a sad ass person? I can't even imagine a world like that.
I can't even imagine a clinical psychologist being okay with the fucking things that's coming out of this man's mouth and not saying a fucking word or questioning his behavior and wondering about the well-being of the child. Shut the fuck up, ma'am, with all the disrespect intended.
Try to put yourself in his shoes for about 2 seconds. I can't even imagine the panic that a person would have not knowing where their child is and just trying anything to try to figure out even what direction to go in.
So we give that grace to Seth, but you can't give that grace to Katie, right? Katie, abuser, Katie Proudfoot, abuser, ? Okay.
What does that mean, you sad ass individual? You are the one that's reflecting yourself to be a sad ass individual. Okay, I'm done, Brittany. Sorry.
No, tell it. That mods, I want 0 tolerance for tonight.
No, tell it. I want 0 tolerance for tonight.
Because that right there, I tell my mods to and let's still have freedom of speech, but not like that. That shit ain't okay at all.
And there's one other one, audacity. I just get the feeling that if the other parent left him that long, there would be an outrage. Katie knew what I did. She knows how long my shifts are. She knows that I work nights and I work 12-hour shifts. She knew everything before she came up, before we even agreed to that.
Well, here's the thing too. I'm listening to what Seth says.
Katie, Sebastian would get off at 3:00, and Katie wouldn't get home until 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So if you think that me leaving him for 12 hours while I go to work at night, she left him at home alone.
For 3 hours versus 12 plus hour shift, plus all of the getting to work, leaving work. You told us that you stayed in the parking lot the day that you got the text message and conversed with your coworkers for a little bit. Yes, you didn't have him, so maybe that wasn't your typical, but you still figure in drive time. Then you've worked a 12-hour shift, so then you go home and go to sleep because you would have to. I mean, that's human nature. You need to sleep. So he's home alone for a lot longer, and you're talking about 3 hours from the time she gets home from work and the time he gets off the bus. Okay.
Well, during the day.
I remember hearing Chris say
He's
that.
15 years old. No, we communicated about that because one of the things that I wanted her to make sure that she understood is that I work 12-hour shifts. Sometimes I have to stay over. It's mandated, and I have to pull 16-hour shifts.
Do you think maybe that led to her concern about Sebastian coming to live with you full time? Do you think that anybody would be concerned about that and him not having proper supervision? Sounds to me like you're really lucky that this didn't happen under your watch, truthfully, because you're telling us that he went outside when you were at work, communicated with your neighbors.
Because we're shorthanded. We got to have officers there for the inmates. And she was completely aware of this. See, there was communication. There was co-parenting when it came to Sebastian. Wasn't the best in the world. But at least both of us tried.
Well, one thing that I actually, that sticks out for me with everything, and I try to even tell everybody, regardless of what you believe.
God, I have nothing nice to say about this dumb twit today. Just nothing nice. I mean, I normally don't have anything nice to say about her, but this takes the cake. The questions she's asking, the fact that she's not even trying to give Sebastian dignity in this whatsoever and is just letting him do all this stuff. We don't need to know about a teenager's coming into their own. We don't need to know about that. We don't need to know about his bathroom habits. We don't need to know about anything. We don't need to know about any of that stuff. We didn't need to know about him. No, none of this shit. Oh, yeah.
That you can't deny that even Chris and Katie themselves have spoke very highly of Seth's relationship with Sebastian.
Yeah.
You know, they said that if...
But wait, I thought, according to half the internet, that they have done nothing but speak terribly about him and put him down and all this other shit. No, they haven't taken the opportunity to smear him. They have not. They have been very, very graceful when it comes to talking about Seth being in Sebastian's life.
If Sebastian was in sports, you bet his father would be on the front row. You know, I don't know what happened. Seth, if you want to come back in, I'll drop the link to you again. Y'all, let's be respectful. Y'all, it's easy to hear he's going through some things. I mean,
on the edge.
This platform has made it even tit for tat. Thank you, sweetheart, for joining. And y'all,
this platform. Meanwhile, you're a part of the problem. This platform.
Y'all's questions. I didn't want to cut him off. I wanted to give him the floor as much as we could. But if he comes back up, I'll try to catch him. I honestly don't.
Why'd he drop off? Because you were actually being honest about the Proudfoots have not smeared him? Or did he get told by his PR guy to drop off panel?
Don't hold it against him about leaving Sebastian at home, because I've heard, it's been out there. Katie and Chris did too. I've known that for quite some time. I just didn't know exactly, the details of it. But he also said that, I think Seth has a duplex. They have close neighbors too. So, I mean, I don't know, y'all. He was 15. You can't, if somebody can nitpick me for a lot of things as a parent,
And Robin is 100% right. Sebastian did not go missing while he was at Seth's house and Seth was at work. He went missing when he was in the big fancy house and his mom was asleep right next door to him. And the door never seemed to open in the middle of the night. So I don't know why all this nitpicking on the kind of parent Seth is or was. Taking a belt off of a child and striking them is completely different than a parent who, teaches a kid to be, self-sufficient while they go to work. None of that has anything to do with them going missing. The belt might have something to do with them going missing. It's so odd.
The belt incident that happened years ago. So we're comparing apples to watermelons again. A belt incident. So that would be as logical for me to say that what Seth did that one time, when he refused to clean his room, when he had Sebastian and he was going to go swimming, that would be,
the attacks that are taken away from, like you said, Brittany, staying with those red flags, right?
Absolutely.
Staying with the red flags. Meanwhile, you just let this man completely strip this minor child of all dignity in front of you on your panel, and you were okay with it.
I mean, back, I would love for you to ask him, and I don't want to butt in, and I don't want to say anything because I'm not a creator, so I'm just the bystander. But if you could ask him, is he getting mental health? Because I worry about him.
I know, right?
I do worry.
I worry about him, but I
worry about him. And I want him to be okay. And I'm hoping that he's getting mental health.
Trishy says, I can't become a member from my iPhone tonight, but wanted to share prayers to Seth. Thank you, Trishy. And your picture's so pretty. If the mods want to try to drop the membership link, we can try again. Okay, yeah. So Starlight's put it on members only. You might have to take it off so Seth can post in the chat. Take it off of members only for a while. Seth is in the.
So now it goes to members only. Oh my God, how opportunistic can this be? I mean, tell me what I've been saying isn't true. That's why she doesn't come back at me. That's why anytime I call her out, she goes right back at the people around me. She can't come back at me. She's always, what about isms? What about this one over here? What about that over here? What about this? Sorry, y'all. I know today I have had zero chill whatsoever, but this is just so disgusting because she says that she cares about this child. She says that she has a child on the spectrum. She says she understands on a personal level. And she just let this man humiliate and strip this child of his dignity for YouTube content. Okay.
In case he wants to come back in, I'll drop the link.
I'm just worried about his mental health more than anything.
Yeah, that, which is why I was saying, maybe
still worried about his mental health, but sure, come back up, Seth. Come back up. Keep feeding our fodder for gross, disgusting trauma.
Isolate yourself.
Yes.
Look, it's no secret. I have walked away from my YouTube channel for a week or two just to get clarity, right? Just to get away from the insanity.
Let's go take a look at that right quick. Hold on. Let's go back over here for a minute. Let's go look at how much she's taken a step back from her channel. Let's go look. Okay. Let's look at her live streams. Let's go back and see when she started covering this, because this one's had a lot to say about people she don't even know. Oh, she's covering cases local to me. Oh, isn't that ironic? Huh. Hopefully she's not local to me, because I tell you what. My thoughts on the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. This is the one I clicked in earlier today.
Now.
Let's see what she opens up with.
Her Royal Highness has been diagnosed with cancer, and she is undergoing treatment. So at least now we know why the palace didn't quite know what to do. I think it's a I've been watching closely with Sebastian Rogers, and of course people have done great coverage. And Chronicles of Olivia, she actually did an interview with Sebastian's mother and stepfather. And so that is part of what I'm going to talk about today. So I'm going to put Olivia's link here. So mods, if y'all can just sort of
come on
our thoughts on any particular subject. 1 minute. Sorry, I've kind of got a little irritating little cough. Okay, so I'm going to comment. Hey, Kelly.
Southern Gal, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you.
Oh, how are you? Welcome, Shalimar. Good to see you. And Cinnamon, hot. Abbey Road. I don't know why. Every time I see Abby's name, in my mind, the Beatles play through. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Okay, hey, Cece Jones, how are you doing? I'm excited that you're here for the live, too. Tennessee, this is right up your alley, isn't it? Yes, Tennessee Volunteers. This is tough. Rousey, welcome. May they both have a full recovery. Absolutely, Rousey. Okay, so
respectfully, I highly disagree. She should have never even entertained. No, and the questions that she answered or asked, the questions that she asked are things that are known. And she completely sat here and let, yeah, I guess I didn't know she was around for a long time. I have no idea who she is. She just recently.
Jackie Blue. Should I do it? Ooh, Jackie Blue. All right, you don't have to. Hey, man of flower power.
Okay.
Adults to establish a new normal, get rid of this. You better find out why the kids in your neighborhood are so out of control that they're killing other kids as fun. We got to find out, because this is not working. So that's another story that I'm following. So
yeah, the Gilbert
have done.
That's scary shit, actually.
I, for the most part, I liked what they did. I more often find myself sort of seeing things more from the view that Chase sees it.
Okay.
Pretty out there. The other thing I want to say before I start this.
Oh, where's
how very irritating and sensory-wise, it can be very amplified. So it's not unusual to see kids that refuse to go outside with their shoes off. Yes, I heard about this whole thing, getting grounded, taking your shoes off and standing in the grass. That actually is something that is being promoted throughout the mental health community. Long story about it. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent here
grounding
to address it, but that is not specific to autism. That is overall, in general, just a form of relaxation, coping skill development, things like that. So this idea that, he doesn't like to get dirty, he doesn't like that feeling.
Arctic, I saw that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Arctic says, I tried to correct her about Sebastian not being diagnosed with autism when Chris gave him a swat with a belt. She just deflected, because it's their source of hate. It's the only thing that they have to continue to say that he's such an evil person is because he admitted to the one-time pop on the butt with the belt. Again, we can disagree on parenting styles all day long. I highly disagree with that type of behavior, but I can't tell their parents how to parent their child. And he didn't have autism, and to completely rewrite history, which we've seen all of these creators do over and over again, is so disturbing.
See, I believe that is consistent with what I already know. I don't like what she's done here. I don't like that she points out, see, he lacks self-awareness. He has dried chocolate milk on his face, but he doesn't even know it. That is inconsistent with a kid who's having some sensory perceptual discomfort, and therefore they want to stay clean, whether it's their hands or their face or around their mouth. That's inconsistent. It's not about.
We heard her on panel last night. Yeah, I can't listen to this shit. Not going to do it. Sorry. But let's see. Let's go back to this. Let's see. She just came. She was on panel with BJ. That's why she got interest from me, because she was on panel with BJ talking shit about all of us that are calling out the misinformation. And I found that ironic. So that's how I found her. So she's done 1 Chris and Katie Proudfoot interview about the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. She's done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, accused as an abuser of children. Look at that. Look at her. Look at this. This is a professional.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Today's March the 30th, and it is 2:00 in the afternoon this fine Saturday. If you're in the Gulf Coast, it's beautiful. Maybe a little overcast, but very nice outside. Of course, I have just gotten so wrapped up in this story about Sebastian Rogers and this 15-year-old going missing. This has been going on since, I believe, February the 25th, if I remember correctly.
26th.
If I'm off on that date, excuse me. I think it was February the 25th.
26th.
And it's been, it's been quite a roller coaster since that period of time. It is an incredible, most of these stories that end up blowing up on social media that capture the attention, hearts, and minds of all the people. Most of them, there's a dramatic element of mystery, right? That when you hear the story, you see the people involved, the mystery remains, that it seems like an impossible situation, that as the story is told, it's just highly unlikely. The story that we were told about Summer Wells, after a few days, everybody's having this dawning realization that this didn't happen as we were told. Like, we don't know.
Is this what she does the entire time?
And the ground upon which he walks, nothing. And yet, you bring in bloodhounds, you bring in beagles, sniffer dogs, tracking dogs. Magically, there's no scent. It's one of two things. Either that kid didn't walk out that door with no shoes on his feet, or somebody took a great amount of water and bleach and cleaned it up off of the sidewalk and the porch. And
oh my God, are you fucking kidding me right now? This has got to be a joke. Somebody has got to be playing a prank. Okay, I'm not watching any more of that. Okay, where were we at? Sorry, let me go back here, because this is just unfreaking believable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know what this one is. 8. Virtue signaling. This is where she tried to piggyback off of Brittany's bullshit. 9. Christopher Proudfoot, the sainted stepfather of wayward boys. Oh my God. Let's look at the titles of these. The dogs that hit during the search near Rockland Wreck. Search has been destroyed by egos and bad actors. I agree with that one. So we got 10. Another one on virtue signalers. 11. 12 is Tony Mathis, a crane operator. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. Oh, she just did one. She just did one. She's got 17 videos and still does not. Okay. All right.
the coast of the Black Sea.
Let's listen to the beginning of this one.
Pretty if you're in Houston. So it's Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. I got some money because I just got paid. All right. So what are we going to talk about? I know it is a very strange title for this video, but we're going to kind of go way off deep into fiction. False, fake, made up. All right. Let's just be clear before we ever get.
Let's go. Actually, hold on. Let me go over here because I think the one I wanted to look at is this.
Is somebody get?
Let's look at. Oh yeah, this is the one.
Sorry, messed my page up. The continuing saga of Sebastian Rogers, who went missing. Well, was last seen February the 26th. Went missing in a little town about 10 miles northeast of Nashville. It's Hendersonville, according to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And all this is happening in Sumner.
At least you got the date right finally.
County. It's interesting that Robin Rogers and Seth have begun to put out cease and desist orders. That is a trip. I'm not sure what they think they're doing, but I wanted to weigh in on it. Now, I know that you guys know that I have been absolutely outspoken, that I think Katie Proudfoot and Christopher Proudfoot, I think they have a problem on their hands. And I think that they have behaved in a way that is incredibly suspect. Hey, Pinky, how are you doing? I think that they have behaved in a way that's incredibly suspect. And in the beginning, I really, really, really felt like Seth was a, like an authentic person. I felt like we were really I felt like we were watching someone who was really committed to his son and was really committed to, heartbroken that his child is missing and that he's out there, doing everything he can to try to find his kid, basically. And I found him to be really sympathetic, I guess is a good word. Good evening, I am Too Bear. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I found that Seth Rogers was a sympathetic creature, authentic. I did listening
creature
to him felt very comfortable. I mean, it was sad, but you didn't feel like you were being misled or manipulated or lied to, correct? And now my brain is I'm just blown away. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen, I think. I mean, I know that is hard to believe, this being YouTube, of course, because we have had some really crazy things happen in the true crime community. But this turnaround with Seth is shocking, absolutely shocking. And I'm going to just say it. I think Tony.
There's no turnaround. This has been happening all along. We've had diagrams to show the team, the ins and outs of the teams. That's why I have a huge whiteboard. It is what it is. None of this has changed. It's all been there all along.
Mathis, he absolutely is at the heart of this. And I have said from the very moment that Tony reared his ugly head, I have said, this is a man who is tied up with Christopher Proudfoot. This is a guy who is working to undermine Seth's goals and ambitions related to his missing child.
So she's saying that Chris and Tony are doing this to Seth intentionally. Okay.
I believe it in my heart. I'm telling you guys, I am absolutely certain of that. And here's what I think.
He's absolutely certain of the fact that Chris and Tony are working together. All right. Interesting. That is
think has happened. Okay. I thought to myself, I should make a video. I should do a expose where I take these bits and pieces of interviews or appearances on YouTube channels and such. I should go ahead and put them together and use it as receipts for.
This is from June 7th.
For my insight, how I arrived at the opinion that I currently have, to highlight, to show that Tony Mathis came into this thing under the wire. He entered as Katie and Christopher Proudfoot are destroying and blowing up their reputations. He entered under the wire.
Wait, what? Christopher and Katie are destroying.
And the moment that Tony Mathis showed up, Christopher Proudfoot's wishes began to be fulfilled. That's right.
Christopher Proudfoot's wishes began to be fulfilled. Okay.
Not a single one of Seth Rogers' original goals, his own, out of his own mouth, his stated goals, not one single one of Seth's original goals are in existence right now today. However, Christopher Proudfoot has gotten everything he wanted. And incidentally,
Chris has gotten everything he wanted.
He is using people like Cluminati to rehabilitate his image.
He's using people like Clue to rehab his image. Okay.
And they're just dumb enough to give him that platform.
And they're dumb enough to give him the platform.
Well, and I have been hearing that language of forces. Hey, Tootie. Hi, Teresa. I love Mickey Mouse. I am Too Bear Pinky. Fairy Meadows. Welcome, Fairy Meadows. Hey, Tommy Larson. Thank you so much for being here. Your comments are very sweet. I think this Tony trying to make dollars for Seth. Well, how? So can you explain that, Tommy? Like, hey, leave the cats.
This is unbelievable.
You still think he's doped up. So I have heard people like on AB's live today. Oh no, maybe it wasn't.
Oh, that says a lot. Look at the picture. Look at the thumbnail that she's got.
Maybe no. You know where I heard it on Dolly's channel last night. Somebody was saying that they thought that Seth was using drugs, and that's
so a professional that's speaking about a missing child and the parent of a missing child, not understanding the need or the want to be numb by the parent of the missing child. So again, pushing the narrative that he might be on a substance. Meanwhile, she's a professional in the mental health arena and probably should understand that anybody going through a tragic time like this and not having answers to where their son is probably wants to be numb. I mean, truthfully, can't say as though I blame any of them.
That's part of the reason why he was easily manipulated. Now Seth charges in advance. No. What the hell are you talking about, Tommy? Seth is being paid to do interviews? 100% agree, Tootie.
There's no proof whatsoever that he's been asked to be paid for interviews.
I 100% agree with you, Tootie. Charges for interviews. Wow. So let me just ask you, Tommy, if I wanted to interview Seth Rogers, what would I have to pay?
Why don't you ask the question? Why don't you ask if there's proof of that? Because there's not. That was started by Crime, Lies, and Lines.
Do we know, like, if they put out like a price or anything?
What the fuck, man? Yeah, Georgia.
Hey, Kathy R., how are you doing?
Dutch.
Reach out to Tony, but I'm betting $500. Oh my God. You're kidding. This circus has paralleled the Summer Wells debacle. Has it paralleled or has it eclipsed, Donna?
Isn't it interesting, Georgia, to see her right before and then how she behaved on panel last night? Isn't it ironic?
This whole $500 for an interview, I think it eclipses the Summer Wells case. Holy crap. I couldn't get more shot. Like, y'all really have literally just blown me away. And of course, this live is only continuing the drama by focusing on the drama and mistruths. And
well, Thor, according to him, he's starting his own YouTube channel and it's going to make people pay for updates. So I guess we could have proof sooner or later of that. People were giving him money. To me, it's called securing a source. It's basically the same thing, but he wasn't asking for it. They were just giving him money to come to their channel. T-Rev admitted it last night. I'll pull that up.
Off the wall suppositions. No, thank you. I can't convince myself that these efforts are any good. Well, Amy LaFours, what are the suppositions and drama? What's been said that is not? What has been said that's not true? Is it not true that Seth is charging for interviews because everybody seems to think that it's true? It is a shit show, Kathy.
It's not
unbelievable.
True.
He sort of always was paid in a sense. The whole getting paid thing is another smear thing. I'm going to agree with you.
Wow, she sure as hell didn't question him on that last night. The irony
about that, Tootie. Let me say this. I have noticed that on this whole YouTube thing, even though YouTube puts the super chat button up, and everybody announces PayPal and all that, I've seen that if you're having your day in the sun as a creator and everybody likes you, then they're throwing super chats at you, they're throwing money at you left and right, and nobody cares. Everybody's okay with that, right? But the minute that someone decides that you're doing wrong, that you're up to no good, like, oh, you shouldn't be talking about Sebastian Rogers' missing child case, right? As soon as somebody makes this bizarre kind of just, oh, I think it's time for everybody to quit talking about that case and move to a different case. As soon as they do that, then they all play the grifter card, right? Oh, you are a grifter. You are, what was it Amy said? You are focusing on drama, mistruths, and off-the-wall suppositions. You are a tragedy pimp, Jules. You are making money off of the downfall of another family's misery. No, Amy. Apparently, the parents of the missing boy are now charging for interviews.
No, there's no. Wow. What is she doing?
So I wonder what your little group of friends thinks about that, because that's the worst. But it is, I think it is true, Tootie, that to accuse someone of being a grifter or taking money for nothing, accepting super chats, that's how people attack you on YouTube now. That's like,
people have came in my chat so many times and telling me that he's being paid, and I keep saying the same thing. Is there proof? Can you find me proof? Is there proof? I have not found proof, and I've been looking and I've been trying. Nobody has been able to provide proof that any of this is factual.
Like a favorite tool. I won't call them trolls, but like if a group of people decide they don't like you, then one of their favorite tactics is accuse you of being a grifter, that you're, exploiting people for money. Did I make $1.50? Well, okay, so let me tell y'all this, okay, because I got tickled this afternoon. I watched a video, and it was a lady that did like the top 10 worst social media influencers on the web. And what this couple, this guy says, he says, I got to get a job. He said, I accepted a job in Houston, so we have to move to Houston because look, let's just.
Yeah, I'm done. You can see the contradiction. She's done multiple videos, and obviously just her bias, and she admitted to it. She is biased over Chris because of the belt incident, and that's that. So she's okay with everything Seth did and said, but meanwhile, she's putting out misinformation on Seth too. And Tony. Yeah, lovely how that goes. Actually, let's look at this. Let's look right here, right quick. Hold on, let me go back over here and share that one more time because I saw something else I just wanted to show you guys. So on here, oh, there's my buddy Mystic Firefly. Imagine that. So there's somebody that says, yes, it was announced, paid interviews, unbelievable. Do you know which channel it was? They announced it. I'd really like to hear it. It is shocking. Quit blaming Tony. Seth is a grown man. He's making the decisions. What's her response? Tony is a manipulative opportunist preying on a weakened person. Stop being short-sighted. A day ago. See that in the corner down here? So she just sat on panel with Seth. Meanwhile, trashing the person that he's associated with. Wow. I mean, what else can we expect? I actually feel worse watching that. I really feel disgusting after watching that. I have no idea, Shorty, and don't want to know. Truthfully, I really don't. I don't want to know nothing about her life. I was stunned when people said she was a legit professional. I was stunned. But again, anybody can have a badge, anybody can have a title, anybody can have anything. We see it all the time. We see. And she might be really good at what she does in certain arenas, but this is definitely not where her strong suit is. And that's from somebody who is a professional too, and similar, not in the mental health fields, but with children with disabilities. I will call myself professional, but I also live in it 24/7 too. And I find it so ironic that they were okay with Seth weaponizing Sebastian's trauma right in front of their faces and never shut it down. I can't get past this right now. The constant undertones of the sexual stuff that Seth says about his own son is so disturbing. It is bothering me. Not sure, Sam. Not sure. Yeah, Austin, I'm trying to give grace again because I don't know her personally, don't want to know her. She hangs out with Brittany J. That's the only reason why I knew who she was, because she's taken panel and tried to, bounce off of these whole like virtue signaling. This isn't about virtue signaling. This is about exploitation of a victim and their family members, and it should stay there. This is continuing to happen, and so many people are doing it, and they can't see the forest through the trees. Seth can have absolutely horrendous, poor choices, be a shit human being that weaponizes his son's trauma and exploits his son's trauma. But at the same time, he can also be used and manipulated by YouTubers too. Both exist in this. So I don't even know what to say to wrap this up. This was disgusting. This is just absolute unnecessary, disgusting. You need to woosah. I know this is I'm stunned, literally stunned. And it seems like every couple of weeks there has to be this buildup and amplification of this BS. Every couple of times when things start to calm down a little bit, here comes the next drama that will be ran with. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, Southern gal, that's very valid. Very valid. This is the second time we've watched this play out in front of us in real time with the exploitation of family members of their own loved ones, and then surround themselves with the worst of the worst. Like, it is play by play watching a playbook. And you know what? JLR wrote that playbook. I hate to say it, but if you have not watched some of the videos on, I can't get down with him at all, because he has those groups set up on Facebook and he just changes their names because he's the ultimate troll. He's the ultimate troll. And knowing that Seth intentionally reached out to him to bring him in for help, knowing his history says a lot. If you don't know what JLR did to the Sandy Hook victims, please go look at it. It's horrifying. And he's currently harassing a creator right now. So JLR and BHB are cut from the same cloth, same as Molly Golightly. They're all the same, unfortunately, and this is their playbook. And T-Rev and others have figured out their playbook. This is how it goes, and it's only going to get worse, y'all. It's only going to get worse from here, and I hate to say that, but anywho, I'm going to get off here for now. Sorry, that was really heavy, and I'm not going to apologize to people for being pissed. Like, there is no... I can't even imagine being violated to the point that Chris and Katie, even Seth, like, if people are going outside of his home and doing things, like, I can't get down with that shit. Like, I just can't get down with this shit. These people are dangerous. The harm that they cause is dangerous. Clue, she has done that nonstop, and then she blames me for talking about you. I go at her, call her out on her misinformation and her behavior and the shit she says about me. And then she'll come back and respond and talk shit about you. And then she blames me for having your name in her mouth. Go figure. I feel like I'm living in deja vu, because Brittany J is becoming the Vada J. It is, Lurker. It is. And Lurker, you've been with me all along. You know... For those of you that were here with the Marvon situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the advocates and the team and how everybody aligns and the shitting on each other and the intentional playbooks and the salacious gossip information. In fact, Granny, I need to go look at that. There was a thing about some local lady that Granny showed that was arrested or something in the beginning of this. I'm curious where that source was, because JLR also has a blog that he writes bullshit on too. Yeah. He did that a couple times to Dre. Announced that Marvon had passed away and she hadn't. Or he hadn't. Yeah, there was all sorts of shit. So, anywho, I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Sheila, I'm not saying it 3 times. Definitely not. Definitely not doing that. It does. I said cease. It does. It really does. Chronicles. That's what he does. Dark versus light. Thank you. I didn't put much work in. Not on it. He doesn't write on SNBC 13, but he writes on that other one. I'll have to go back. I have it. It's in one of my videos. The website he wrote for. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but he was writing articles on there. And his source was always Molly Golightly. I remember that. But they used SNBC 13 for their source when they announced that was Spanky and Molly on BHB's. Thank you, Christina. All right, y'all. I'm out. I will see you guys later. Oh, enjoy your family dinner. I hope you guys all have the rest of a good day. Duchess is going live later tonight. Please join her. I think, did you set it yet, Duchess? I guess my lazy butt could go look. Let me go look. She doesn't have it set yet, but pay attention, because I think she's going live tonight. That's her goal. Her blood pressure is up. So depending on how she feels, but I'm sure there will be other people that are live. Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you. Aw, Peg. Thank you. I like yellow. Like this color yellow, I really like. It's a little big, but I still like it. Yellow is one of my favorite colors. All right, y'all. Oh, Spivey, thank you. By the way, I wanted to thank you. I got what you sent. I appreciate that so much too. Bye, Leon. Okay, y'all. All right, Duchess. if we get a notification, we'll be there. Norma, today wasn't very informative. It was a lot of me just losing my shit. Honestly. Hey, Rachel, let me link you. Bye, Angel. Hey, Touchgrass. Okay, let me link you right quick. I'm just over all of it. Truly. It's going to get worse before it gets better, too. That's the sad shit. Oh, Chico beat me. Chico beat me. Oh, little mama. Hold on. Let me do that before I forget. Hold on. Let me go over here. Hold on. I got memberships gifts to give away. Let me do that right quick. Let me go to my own channel. I'll do that. I don't search my own channel ever, so I'm like, oh. Okay. Let me go down here. Membership gifting. Okay, here we go. 5 of you should get them. Let's see who got them. Sam got one. I said Cease got one. Smurfette, Christina, and Kathy 4. Okay, let me do another one. Wait, she went off on Arctic? She went off on Arctic? What? Why would that happen? Okay, let me give another 5. Let's see who gets them now. Mercedes Girl, Daisy, Lily Polly, Tammy, and Glitter and Gloss. Welcome to the cabana. That's my 10. If you have a channel and you are not a branded channel, you have membership gifts to give at the beginning of every month. That's what I was doing. So welcome to the cabana. I will see you guys later. Thank you for all being here with me. Stay safe out there. It's getting chaotic. Bye, y'all.